I'm Christine Lisi. Tom Brady's heading to the broadcast booth less than a week after announcing his retirement after a 23-year playing career. Brady told Fox's The Herd with Colin Cowherd he'll begin his role as a broadcaster during the 2024 NFL season. Last year, he signed a 10-year, $375 million deal to be Fox's #1 NFL game analyst. NBA next stop for Kyrie Irving, Dallas. A day after the blockbuster trade from Brooklyn that landed him with the Mavericks, the superstar point guard in Dallas today to take his physical. Looking ahead, Irving's fit with new teammate Luka Doncic, one concern for ESPN's Tim Legler.
I want to see how Kyrie Irving reacts to Luka Doncic's ball dominance, because this is a guy that handles the basketball and controls the basketball to a greater extent than any player in the NBA. And now you've got Kyrie Irving, who also likes to get his hands on the ball first and put that thing on the ground before he has an opportunity to go do his thing.
Irving's Dallas debut Wednesday against the Clippers, 10 Eastern, ESPN TV. Purdue, the #1 men's college basketball team in the country, a third straight week, according to the latest AP poll.
We all know the game isn't over till it's over. So next time your car breaks down, don't call it quits. Head to eBay Motors. They have 122 million parts to take your car into overtime. Get the right parts at the right prices. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Bank. That's bank. Enter it now.
Log on now to ESPNAVL.com. And good luck from ESPN Asheville.
In the heart of Beer City, USA, two men, one journey to create a sports show unlike any other. Unfiltered, raw, and honest. One of them played a soccer goalie opposite Ben Stiller. The other once scored 6 points on Steph Curry. These guys know their shit.
Let's go!
Tank Spencer, Jeremy Greene, The Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings. And Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
And welcome into the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400. The Sportsocracy heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app, seen everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com. Click the live video link. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can join us in the chat. And it is a Mock Draft Monday.
Mock Draft Monday!
As, of course, you knew it was coming. Post-Senior Bowl Mock Draft. We will give you the look into the next mock draft from Floster Thomas, Jeremy Greene.
There are some things that I'm very confident of after the week in Mobile. Some things I'm very sure won't happen. And some players that I'm now very confident are going in the first round.
The now memorialized Jeremy Greene.
That's not me. I've been sent that no less than 10 times. So apparently it's somebody that passed away last year. It does look strikingly like
there is a mural up in West Asheville. It's at the Walk.
The Walk, yes.
It's at the Walk.
West Asheville Lounge and Kitchen.
Yeah, and the picture on the side of the building looks like Jeremy Greene decked out in his New York Jets gear.
I got sent that so many times. I don't know if it just randomly got painted or if it's been up for a while, but somebody saw it, and then a lot of other people saw it.
Yep.
It is not me. Looks like me.
Yeah, it does look like you. I'm with your wife, though. A little skinnier version of you. So
it's just not nice.
I'm just saying.
That was our takeaway.
She said it.
That can't be you. Too thin to be you.
Too thin to be you.
Porky.
Welcome into the program, and it is Super Bowl week. We will be live for the Super Bowl at the Village Porch, 41 North Merriman Avenue on Sunday. Be sure and join us out there.
We've got new things starting this week. If you hear this noise or this noise directly preceding a comment of yours, that means you have just scored on the Sportsocracy scoreboard to be our weekly speaker of the house for a free merch out of our new merch store.
There we go.
We've been wanting to do this forever. We just couldn't figure out a way. And then I went, oh, there's a real easy way to do it. When we call out your comment, bingo. Hey, that allows you to win free stuff from us.
Indeed. All right, so, you want to get in, subscribe to the channel so you can join us in the chat. Your comments get highlighted, then you get points And the points add up, and we will name a Speaker of the House each and every week here in the Sportsocracy. Hopefully you didn't spend any time on the Pro Bowl.
I watched
ridiculous.
more Les Miserables than I did of the Pro Bowl.
Which is 0.
Nope. Accidentally got stuck on it. It was on HBO, and my remote stopped working for a second. I went, don't make me break the television because I'll do it.
Was this the Russell Crowe version? Is this?
I don't know. It was awful. It was just genuinely terrible.
It was just awful.
I've started Yellowstone. All of you that told me to watch that, thank you for that. Never thought you would find a way to get me interested in something that was all about horses and cowboys, and yet you found a way.
We tried to warn you. We tried to tell you. You're too far behind the curve on this thing. It's a good show.
It is a good show.
An absolute good show.
I'm through 2 seasons, and I've already formulated some opinions.
Are you going to share those with us?
Oh,
or?
yeah. We'll do that later in in this here program.
Okay. All right. Very good. We'll have Jeremy saw a TV show.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I don't have a drop for that, but we can have one by tomorrow.
Look, I didn't see any of the Pro Bowl, and I'm not sad about it.
No.
Like, after
you lost me at flag football.
and then
I see Jalen Ramsey just absolutely demolish Tyreek Hill. Oh, wait, you think Roger Goodell just had a little infarction there for a second?
Right. Like that's the one.
That's what we're trying to stop.
That's the one highlight that they showed at the end of obviously because it was the last play of the game. And as you see Jalen Ramsey just throwing a unpadded shoulder into Tyreek Hill, knocking him head over heels out of bounds, you went, so this is what we wanted?
He went full Street Fighter. I swear to you, I heard Hoyukin in the background.
This was such a great idea. I mean, there will be no injuries when you have unpadded players just knocking into each other.
Just the little amount I saw, which I saw none of it live. I saw some of it on Twitter. But it's just stop it. All right, no more Pro Bowl. We're done. We don't need to do this. It's dumb. It's how Tyler Huntley winds up playing quarterback. Stop it.
But didn't he do so great? Threw 4 touchdown passes. Woo.
Awesome. That means he's the best 7-on-7 quarterback in Las Vegas for a day.
Congratulations. Woo. You threw more touchdown passes in a flag football game than you did the entire season and still made the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
So gross. So gross. It is time for the opening drive here on a Mock Draft Monday. And it's always brought to you by Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville. Go to 629 Brevard Road. Check out the showroom if you're in the market for a new or a certified pre-owned vehicle. Just mention the Sportsocracy when you go by to make your deal. And they will give you $250 on top of whatever your trade-in is already worth.
I traded in cars today, and I discovered that there is something new that I had not seen yet, and that is the Platinum. I am now in a Platinum brand new 2023 Nissan Rogue.
Wow.
So I said that the Murano would do my taxes. The Rogue, the Platinum Rogue, will do my taxes and give me a nice little shoulder rubby while it's doing it. That car has everything you could possibly ever want.
It's got like 3D displays.
It does. The odometer vibrates if you're going too fast, which, sorry, I didn't mean to. I was passing somebody on the interstate and it started shaking at me. Whoa! That's sweet.
No, you're talking about the tachometer.
Yes.
Not the
dashboard
speed gauge does not do that.
They just said, "Hey, that's all. It's shifting time. You got to let me do that." Not in the best of moods. If you're watching us on the live stream, you can see that all the graphics are new because we lost them all. Hard drive just went. I don't work anymore. Yay.
Sometimes that happens, but yes, do not forget to join us this Sunday at the Village Porch for the big game. It's going to be so much fun. We're going to have all your ins and outs of the Super Bowl festivities and the prognostications all week long right here in the Sportsocracy.
We'll also be doing squares, which will be out on our social medias later tonight. I don't 100% understand how that works because, I always do it, and then somebody hands me, here, you won this. I don't know how, but okay. Cool. I'm glad you kept up with that.
We'll have the Mock Draft Monday coming up at the 4 o'clock hour. It'll be the first look at Flostradamus's post-Senior Bowl mock draft. He's going to give you the top 10. And there's some new names.
There are a handful of new names, handful of names that you don't hear, and there's one that I am now more convinced than I have ever been, and I am going to stake my claim that not only is this going to happen, it is going to be one of the funniest things in the history of the NFL draft.
Should be a lot of fun. Should be a lot of fun. And we got Panthers news.
You're doing stuff.
New DC. I mean, that's a hell of a staff that they're putting together so far.
It is. We'll talk about that later in the show. If you're a Carolina Panther fan, you should be very excited right now. While I was at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville this afternoon, I was talking to a couple of the Panther fans going, well, we don't love Frank Reich. You should.
Plus, there was a trade in the NBA. We'll get into that maybe later.
We'll mock that aggressively.
Right. All coming your way here in the Sportsocracy over the next 3 hours. It is Super Bowl week. The teams are arriving down in Arizona as the Kansas City Chiefs get ready to take on the Philadelphia Eagles. You still convinced? Still convinced 100%. This is just going to be a bloodletting?
Oh, absolutely. And it's solely because of how cocky Philadelphia is. Every time any member of that organization speaks, I've read this book more than once, of the team that comes in just completely, well, of course we do. We were going to be here. We're so fantastic, and you beat nobody. You heard anybody from Kansas City say anything?
No.
No. You know why? Because they have the big boy coach. They have Andy Reid that went, just act like you've been here before. Oh, wait. Because we have.
Because we have. Third Super Bowl appearance for the Kansas City Chiefs, hoping to take home their second Super Bowl trophy in the last, 5 years?
Yes.
Yikes.
Third time being there.
I mean, this is dynasty. This is all the makings.
Oh, you're definitely sneaking into that territory. Now, the AFC is going to get drastically harder with every passing year.
But does it really matter?
Yes. Yes, it matters.
You think so?
100% I do.
You think so?
100% I do.
I mean, we thought that Kansas City may not have it in them, losing Tyreek Hill. They may not have the ability to get back to the big game this year. And here we are. They're here. They were the champions. They were not the foregone conclusion. They were not prognosticated to be the team to go here. But here they are, back at the top once again.
I do want to know how we have anybody other than Jason and Travis Kelce's mother doing the coin flip.
That would be cool.
You boo-booed that. I don't care who's supposed to do it. They can walk out with her. That's fine. I don't care. You've already nailed what is it, America the Beautiful or the National? I don't remember which one Chris Stapleton's singing.
I think he's doing the national anthem.
Oh, which is just awesome. It's all over. I'll give you your first free prop. Chris Stapleton singing anything, over. Really likes the runs where it just.
Do that again?
I can't.
Come on, hit us with your soothing country voice.
It's okay. That's funny you said that. I was with Chief Zach for we had dinner the other night, and they brought out the birthday thing. So, virtually every restaurant you go to, they bring out the birthday dessert. Well, they didn't sing to him. They didn't sing to him or News Know Mark Starling. And so Dave looked at me and just on the spot said, "You have to start it." And I learned that there's a look that man has. And if he says it, I'm going to do it.
100%.
So I went, I don't want to get just smacked right here in the middle of this here restaurant.
I don't want a ticket for no reason.
I don't want to get smacked right now. And I'm afraid it could happen if I don't do this. So happy birthday to you.
Is that how you started it?
No, not at all.
Did you do it all lounge singery like?
Not at all.
It's great. It's fantastic. Kansas City Chiefs, Philadelphia Eagles. Look, I'm still on the other side of this. I still feel like there's something about this Philadelphia team that I think they're going to be able to put enough pressure on Patrick Mahomes. Good news is that he's practicing in full. Like we didn't expect any different, but with the high ankle sprain and all of that, I know he's had a couple of weeks. He's had the layoff week to get it better. I still think it's going to be a problem.
Well, as the week goes on, we will have a preview of each side of the ball, one per day. And then we will have Asheville Police Chief David Zach here with us on Friday
Yeah.
to do all of the props with our Super Bowl spectacular. That is worthy of a spectacular.
The Football Friday
Yes.
Super Bowl spectacular.
Bingo.
All of the prop bets, all of that. It's going to be a fun Football Friday. You'll want to join us not only for the coverage throughout the week, but
I've also got a little birdie that told me something on a prop bet. It is the weirdest tip I've ever gotten. In the 20-plus years I've been doing this, it's the weirdest tip I've ever gotten because it has absolutely nothing to do with the game. And I'll let you know what that is on Friday.
you are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville.
It's time to discover the convenience and time savings of contact-free pickup with Ingles Curbside. Just visit shop.ingles-markets.com or download the app. And your Ingles personal shopper gets to work with specialized training on how to select the freshest items for a pre-scheduled pickup. They'll even text you with updates. You pull up to a designated space and your personal shopper delivers your items right to your vehicle. Fresh, fast, and affordable. It's all in the bag. Ingles. Low prices. Love the savings.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelly Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
Are you a business owner, CEO, or responsible for marketing? If you are, iHeartMedia can help you reach your goals and find new customers. We reach more consumers in your target area than anyone else, and we can give you access to those potential customers more cost-effectively across radio, digital, podcasting, and social. We'd love to show you how iHeartMedia can work for you. Get started today at iHeartAdvertising.com. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Tara, quote, "My doctor wanted me to do saline rinses for my allergies, but I've never been able to successfully use a neti pot. Navage uses suction power, so it's foolproof. There are nights when I'll have particularly bothersome allergies. I'll bust it out, and the results are immediate. It's such a relief. It's become a lifesaver." Unquote. She's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
As a Walgreens pharmacist, I talk with people all the time about little tips and tricks for filling their Medicare prescriptions, like taking advantage of Walgreens 90-day refills to save them a trip, or using Refill by Scan, which is super easy and right on your phone. And for anybody worried about prescription costs, I say, hey, we got you, with low-cost copays on many medications.
Let's talk about making things easier. Walgreens is here. Fill your way and save at walgreens.com/Medicare. See pharmacists for restrictions and exclusions.
It is the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. And the Carolina Panthers putting together a heck of a staff. Under Frank Reich, new head coach of the Carolina Panthers, and now you have a defensive coordinator that's very highly respected around the league. Only been a year as a defensive coordinator, but has had so many jobs on defensive staffs.
Well, I mean, virtually everybody wanted to talk to him. And he interviewed. I think he interviewed for every head coaching job at some point, or at least was requested. I can't tell you he interviewed for all of them, but he interviewed in Carolina. They were impressed by him. And this was one of those pairings that David Tepper said, hey, I can pay him if you're interested.
Mm-hmm.
And Frank Reich said, I've had some success being paired with a coordinator in the past. Current Chicago Bears head coach Matt Eberflus, which was not his selection. It worked out just fine.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is going to be a home run for Carolina. I'm really impressed with what they've done hiring the staff. And this is what happens when you're the best job on the market. I mean, that's where Carolina fell in. The Indianapolis job's a dumpster fire. Arizona's a dumpster fire. Denver had to overpay to get the guy they wanted. And so you have the ability to go get, in my opinion, the best coach on the market, which was Frank Reich.
Mm-hmm.
And then you build out a staff.
Mm-hmm.
Now the curiosity is, what do you do at quarterback? You got there's a lot of potential there. But having somebody like Ejiro Evero that's coordinating this defense, has a track record of being good with defenses. But if we're being honest, I'm looking at Denver and Carolina. I don't think Denver's more talented. I would say it lines up pretty similarly.
I would say so.
I think Carolina's got more talent in the front seven, maybe not as much in the back half.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I like Jeremy Chin as much as anybody, and I love J.C. Horn, but Denver was stacked back there.
Yeah, I mean there is a little step down in the talent in the secondary, but the big pieces,
not much.
The big pieces are similar.
And I like this for Derek Brown. I like it for Brian Burns.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a home run. So now, and what that does is now I don't have to go big game hunting. I can be comfortable with the double. And for me, there are two of those for Carolina. There's a plan A, and then there's a plan B. Plan A is Derek Carr. 8 days from right now, he's going to be a free agent.
Mm-hmm.
I do not understand why so many national shows do not understand. Derek Carr's not getting traded anywhere. He has no trade clause. He knows he can force the Raiders to pay him, and this is the last little knife right in the old rib cage on the way out.
Right.
You didn't treat me right. You didn't appreciate me, and now I'm going to get you. And what does that mean? It means when he signs his next deal, wherever he goes, whether it's Carolina, New Orleans, Atlanta, Tennessee, the New York Jets, he can be a little more generous because he just got a nice little hefty payout from the Raiders, which means he doesn't have to get $120 million.
Question is, will he?
I don't think so. I think Derek Carr is going to be somewhere in that 3-year, about $100 million range. And the more I think about it, the more I struggle to believe it's going to be anywhere but Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I said last week, I feel like he's going to end up in the NFC South because that's where you've got a litany of quarterback openings.
All of the teams.
The minute he signs in that division, he is the best quarterback in it by light years.
Mm-hmm.
And so you look around and go, they're all four going to be interested to some shape, form, or fashion. Tampa Bay, they're going to have to gut the roster to bring me in. New Orleans, they've already started gutting the roster, and they're still over the cap. So then it really becomes Atlanta or Carolina. I'm not sure how in Carolina or Atlanta will be because he doesn't fit what they do. To me, Atlanta's not going to do anything until they know Lamar Jackson's completely off the table.
Mm-hmm.
And so Carolina could just be perfect timing. The Jets are hung up on Aaron Rodgers. The Falcons are hung up on Justin Fields and Lamar Jackson, from what I've been told. So you could just swoop in there, sign Derek Carr, and everybody else is at arm's distance.
We have said for the last 3 years that this is the time. This is the year that the Carolina Panthers should have had marked on the calendar. And I think everything is coming to fruition to tell us that was true. That they have circled this offseason as this is the year that we can take over the NFC South.
Well, and there's a belief around the league of that, too. Deuce Staley didn't just leave the Detroit Lions for what is seeming like a very lateral move because he doesn't believe in this team.
No.
Detroit's the favorite to win the NFC North next year. I don't think it's even debatable.
Yeah, I would say Minnesota is.
Stop. No team in NFL history has ever won more one possession games than you think. Well, but Minnesota can do it again. Yeah, I'm going to say they can. Minnesota has LMNO 6-11 written all over it to me.
Yikes.
A huge drop-off. Just a huge drop-off.
All because of the one-score games?
You can't live like that forever. It's like turnovers. You look at a team that just has a bajillion turnovers one year. weird. It tends to regress to the mean the next year.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Yeah, Deuce Staley coming over as the running backs coach for the Carolina Panthers. That was a hell of a get for Frank Reich. And I mean, will he go with an offensive coordinator? Will it be an offensive coordinator in name only?
Probably,
like
and it
Dallas?
very well may be Deuce Staley.
Mm-hmm.
That had not been determined yet. His role most likely is that they're going to have a running game coordinator, which would be Deuce.
Mm-hmm.
They'll have a pass game coordinator, which could be I've heard a lot of names, and then Frank's going to be the one that has the ultimate say. The only question is who calls the plays.
Mm-hmm. I think it'll be
without a doubt is the most overrated thing in the world to me.
I was gonna
it's
say,
one thing if Andy Reid's calling the plays. If it could be Frank Reich or Deuce Staley. Okay. Don't necessarily know that changes all that much, but whatever you want to do,
well, I think
you do.
I think Frank's already said he's the guy. He's going to be the one calling the plays.
And that's fine.
Said he's always liked doing that. He's always felt like he's had success doing that. So I imagine that he will be calling the plays. But the Ejiro Evero hiring is an absolute home run.
And that just tells you, I mean, Ejiro Evero had a ton of options. The Minnesota Vikings wanted to talk to him. Denver wasn't Seacrest out on him being the coordinator. It was just he got so much interest, and I think he went to them and said, I don't want to be here.
Mm-hmm.
This is not my guy. Just let me move on. And credit to Sean Payton for doing that.
But this is a defense that has enough talent where he can end up having a top 10 defense again this year and then cash in all of the experience that he's gained over this past offseason or I guess over the last few weeks doing all of these head coaching interviews. He will not be in Carolina long.
Well, and that's entirely possible. But you got him for a year.
Mm-hmm.
And that should, to me, that is a signal of how everybody feels around the league. You're looking at this team going, they have one great big hole, and then you need to add pieces. And for me, it's Mock Draft Monday, so the question is, which would you prefer? I saw Y Big Jordan in the comments saying, well, no more veterans. I don't know that I would necessarily go that route. We've done, and what he said was this would be 4 in a row. Well, one of those was Baker Mayfield. So I don't necessarily know that counts because everybody in the league knew where that was going to go.
Mm-hmm.
Sam Darnold was the best opportunity that you had because he's still a young guy. And I'll be honest with you, he's your plan B. If Derek Carr's not coming or you can't make that work for whatever reason, Sam Darnold's a pretty good second option.
But you can't bank on having that young stud in the draft.
No, and we'll get into this when we do the mock draft. There are some, we'll say there are some varying opinions on the quarterbacks, and I've been down this road. I know how this goes. When you get that usually means that nobody's willing to move up. I do have a trade in this first round, and it's not going to be for as much as you think. And unfortunately for Carolina, I don't think it's happening with you.
All right, let's get just a bit outside.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
All right, I'm going to go to the college basketball world for this one today because, I mean, we all know it's time, right? It's time to make that big banner change in Syracuse.
Oh, he's
Jim
awful.
Boeheim. Come on, man.
Oh, he's awful.
This guy is absolutely terrible, and it gets worse and worse and worse every week. Every time he has a post-game press conference, he just has to open his yap and just says whatever comes to the top of his mind. And on Saturday, he goes to the podium after the game, and he's talking about name, image, and likeness. And he's throwing Wake Forest under the bus. And he's throwing Pittsburgh under the bus like, oh, the Pittsburgh and Wake Forest, they both bought teams with NIL. And now he's had to backtrack. He talks about not being a part of the machine, the NIL machine.
Yeah, because nobody wants your money.
None of our guys get paid anything to come here. I mean, maybe like $20,000. That's all our guys are making. Okay, well, look, you're at the point now where this is the game being played. And I feel like you can't be Jim Boeheim. You can't be Dabo Sweeney. You can't be the guy who's standing out here saying, "Oh, I'm not paying anybody." Well, good luck maintaining any kind of a recruiting base. Do you think people are these young players are just itching to come play for you?
Oh, no. The bad thing is I agree with some of what he said. This is why Jay left. This is why Mike Krzyzewski left. I agree with that wholeheartedly. And the NIL thing, there's a story out today. I don't know if you've read this or not. The specifics came out on the Jaden Rashada deal with Florida.
Okay.
So they had agreed to pay him $250,000 a month with $500,000 up front, and they had to pay Miami $500,000 to get him out because they'd already paid him.
Oh.
Which, by the way, is super illegal.
Mm-hmm.
Not that anyone cares.
No, nobody cares.
The NCAA surely doesn't, but just throwing it out there.
Yeah, nobody cares. He spoke no lies when he said that guys like Jay Wright and Mike Krzyzewski, this is the reason that they got out of it. There's no doubt about that. But, dude, if you're going to continue to be there and you're going to continue to try to recruit, I feel like you've got to accept, this new way of living, or else you're not going to have the program that you once had. I mean, you're already staring another year without a tournament berth in the face.
Well, I mean,
I get it.
They are the example of mediocre.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know the last time Syracuse didn't lose 10-plus games?
No.
It's 2013.
That's been a while.
It's almost a decade. And yet Jim Boeheim talks like I'm still the guy. No, you're an annoying little speed bump that plays a stupid defense that nobody else plays. And you know why? Because the three is kind of a thing now. And so teams just drag you down the sidewalk because you're this stubborn, crotchety old man that won't get out of your comfort zone and stop playing 2-3 zone like it's 1984.
Look, Jim Boeheim, he has been on my turd list for many, many years.
Oh, he's the worst. He's the worst.
But here's the thing. Worse than the NIL discussion, I mean, he's just up there flat out lying. Because not only did he have the NIL hot takes, but he also said he's coming back next year. Like he's planning on doing this again, and he's going to be coming back for his year 79 or whatever it is as the head coach of the Syracuse Orange. And he swears to God nobody's pushing for him to be gone.
Yeah, it's because they're saying it behind your back when your hearing aid is down.
Yeah.
I promise you they're saying it.
Yeah. Oh, it's my choice, and I'm going to be here forever. The athletics director for Syracuse needs to go to him today and say, "It's not your choice anymore.
Yeah.
You are gone.
Yeah.
Done, fired, be gone. I don't care. You are past the point of this is all-time great. He gets to decide whether or not he gets to stay or not. No, he does not. If I was a Syracuse Orange fan, I would be livid that he's still there.
My question is, what 18-year-old high school 5-star looks at Abe Simpson and goes, yeah, I want to do that, and go play for the guy that puts me in a defense that doesn't show anything I can do, has had a handful of NBA players in 2 decades, and his offense is from 1975. This is the crotchety old man yelling at clouds.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Boeheim has become the guy in the neighborhood who you don't want to hit your ball in his yard because he'll run it over with his lawnmower. Oh, he's the worst.
He is absolutely the worst. Syracuse needs to take charge and get him gone today.
If you're a Washington Commander fan, I have some what could be very exciting news for you.
Uh-oh.
Daniel Snyder is having a fire sale, and everything must go for the low, low price of just $4.99. He just put his house in D.C. on the market.
Nice.
Not only did he put his house on the market, he actually put it on the market at a discount. It's $49 million.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm going to buy it. This is just it is priced to sell. And so if you're like me and you read tea leaves, I don't think you're selling this palatial Potomac Estate and going, well, we'll just buy another house. I don't know if you've looked at real estate in Washington, D.C. right now, but it's not exactly the best time to be doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is happening.
100%
and
it's happening.
And I'm pretty sure it's going to be done before the draft. I think you have seen the last game of Daniel Snyder owning the Washington Commanders. There are too many little things like this that have added up to a big picture that says, okay, something's up.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he sells his team, there is absolutely no reason for him to be in D.C. Hey, I mean, he'll be the most vilified human in the entire district.
Absolutely.
So you get out.
Actually, I think he'd be the most celebrated person in the district.
Oh, no, he would still be. They would still view him as the devil.
If he sells the team, that's all we wanted.
And to be honest with you, that's saying something because that's where all the politicians hang out. When you're the most hated person in a city with every politician, you're a bad dude.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it. Just sell it just make them the Washington Amazon Primes and do it right now.
It's Daniel Snyder putting the house up for sale. $49 million. Write you a check for that. How about that?
That's. I mean, I'm not going to. I mean, I personally, I'm not real big on the cream painting on the outside. I mean, I get that it's a value of $49 million, but for me, I want it to be a little bit nicer if I'm spending that much.
You are in the Sportsocracy, and it is ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Wild numbers to get the week started here in the Carolinas. We've got some mid-60s in the Wednesday forecast. Looks like we try to stay above average all week long. Low tonight down to 34 degrees. Mostly cloudy Tuesday, a high of 60. Mid-60s on Wednesday, and then some wet weather coming in Thursday, Friday with some rain showers. Turning cooler into the weekend. By Saturday, high temps only around 37. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech. Planning for an upcoming trip? It's important to know that updated COVID-19 boosters are currently available at no cost to you. Remember that immunity could take time to build. Check eligibility and schedule at vaccines.gov. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Tara, quote, "My doctor wanted me to do saline rinses for my allergies, but I've never been able to successfully use a neti pot. Navage uses suction power, so it's foolproof. There are nights when I'll have particularly bothersome allergies. I'll bust it out, and the results are immediate. It's such a relief. It's become a lifesaver." Unquote. She's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
No one has the same taste as you.
You damn right.
From the music you love to the podcasts you can't live without. And only the iHeartRadio app has it all for free. Download the free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts.
For more information about contests on the station, log on to espnavl.com.
Tired of getting dinged by monthly fees on your checking account? You need Simple Checking from Home Trust Bank. With Simple Checking, you get all the essential checking services for free, including 100% online access and a free Visa debit card. It's everything you need from a checking account, but no hoops, no surprises, no monthly fees. Stop by today or call 800-627-1632. Simple Checking at Home Trust. Ready for what's next. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. a premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
The Sportsocracy.
You were just dumber than a bag of hammers.
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy. It is ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400, and we're heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app.
We got our first one of these of the day, and it couldn't have been more perfectly timed.
I'm your huckleberry.
It's from our buddy Colin. Do you think Sean Payton can fix Russell Wilson and make him a decent quarterback again? As always, much love. That's from our buddy Colin. Thank you, Colin. And that's perfect timing because it's time to do the offseason look ahead for the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, the Denver Broncos supposed to pick 5th in the upcoming NFL draft, but traded that one away to the Seattle Seahawks, and so you don't have your pick at the top of the draft.
No, but if there was ever a year that I'm not going to say I'm okay with it, I'm looking at this going, all right, so let's say Jalen Carter and Will Anderson go in the top 4. What exactly was Denver going to do right there anyway?
Mm-hmm.
They were going to be a prime candidate to trade back. Now, that's where you get into trouble, is that you could have gotten the draft capital, built the roster, but you didn't. You decided to go dangerous.
I also like to live dangerously.
And that didn't necessarily go your way in year one. But now you got Sean Payton, who historically is one of the best offensive coaches in the league. I don't know how much faith I'm supposed to have in this.
I mean, you should have as much faith as you have in Sean Payton. I mean, this is not a talentless team.
No, but this is not a good quarterback. Now, I like the fact he called Sean Payton and said, I know I need to be changed, and that's not the problem. The problem with Russell Wilson has been very basic, and it's been since, I would say, 2 years ago, of he thinks he can sit in the pocket and be Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady. You're not that guy. You're just not that guy, and you never will be. The allure of Russell Wilson was always he can move out of the pocket, he can do things on the run, play action. And I'm looking at the basis of this team going, there's a potential for you to do that. But Sean Payton's going to have to get into a room with Russell Wilson and go, I'm the captain now. You do what I say. And if you don't, this is your last year, and it's curtains for you because you're not getting another act. Denver's act 2, and it started really poorly. But there's weapons on this team. There's good players on that defense. I just feel like what everyone is looking at Denver and saying is Sean Payton's going to come in, and now we're going to see the Russ of old, and he's going to throw for 4,000 some odd yards. Is that actually what you want? Because to me, it's not. I want Russ to be – I can't believe I'm getting ready to say what I'm getting ready to say. I want Russell Wilson to be Geno Smith. Don't turn the ball over. A lot of play action. I'm going to get you out of the pocket. I'm going to put you in positions to succeed. And nobody in the NFL does that better than Sean Payton. Bill Belichick said nobody attacks a defense in the same way that Sean Payton does. So I think there is a path that this team can be markedly better. I just think there's a gigantic ceiling on you.
I mean, I would agree with that, but Sean Payton, is he going to come in and make the Denver Broncos a Super Bowl contender right away? Nobody's expecting that.
I don't think he's going to do it, period, because I'm not sure it's doable. You gave up so much to get Russell Wilson. You're going to have holes on this roster. And this is a team that's not losing a lot. Now, you look down who's going into free agency. I mean, I would like to bring back Draymond Jones, Dalton Risner, Cam Fleming, Alex Singleton. I mean, none of that's really swaying me.
No.
And I feel like I can replace every one of those guys in the draft. The problem is, what is your high side? How good is your good? How bad is your bad? Well, their bad is bad, 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 but bad, bad. We saw it last year. What exactly is it that we think Sean Payton can do?
I think he could take this team to a 10-win season. immediately.
I
Just
don't.
flip it all around.
I don't.
I can't buy that Russell Wilson is absolutely cooked. Russell Wilson.
I can because I wasn't. I mean, if you remember the day they made that trade, I went, "You're going to regret this," because the tape says that guy is not the guy that you're trading for. Do I think Sean Payton can get the most out of him? Yeah, but you got to understand this is something Sean Payton's never done. Drew Brees was a statue. He just sat in the pocket and threw darts and always made the right decision. And I'm not trying to slight Sean Payton. I'm really not. And I've always thought you were higher on Drew Brees than I am. But when you have a quarterback, that's like the Chad Pennington theory. When I have a quarterback that never makes mistakes, my opportunity cost is much higher than yours. If I know going into a game that, half a turnover a game, that's where New Orleans was. That's not Russell Wilson. It never has been. And it's certainly not going to be that now. And so you're going to have Sean Payton trying to do something that he's never done before. And you're going up against Pat Mahomes, who we've already said we think is a top 10 quarterback in NFL history already, and Justin Herbert, who now has an actual offensive play caller. I struggle to believe that that's all of a sudden going to make you a juggernaut in this division, and you gave up so much to get him.
Yeah.
Denver is just, to me, they are a desperate franchise that is doing desperate things. We said this with David Tepper when he hired Matt Rule. New owners, they do this because they're so used to everything they do works. So I can throw money at it, but that's not how this league works. So, yeah, the Waltons, you have more money than anybody else in the league. I get it. It doesn't matter. We have a cap. We have a draft structure, and you're giving away draft picks like they're Pez. Like you're just handing them out at a picnic to anybody that will take them. And so I'm not sure how you're supposed to make this roster better. That was one of the problems with Nathaniel Hackett. And new Carolina Panthers defensive coordinator Ejiro Evero, he absolutely eviscerated Russell Wilson in his interview with the Broncos, and apparently did it with a couple other people as well. That's a bad sign. When the defensive guy is not blaming the bad clock management coach, he's turning on the quarterback, that tells me there's a lot there.
Russell Wilson was a problem. He was a problem this past year because it was Russ's team.
That's not the case anymore.
No, that's not the case anymore. And see, I think that's where this all hinges. Russ thought he was in charge when Nathaniel Hackett was there because I have more experience than Nathaniel Hackett. Okay. So he's just not going to listen to him. He's not going to follow the game plan. He's not going to do the things that he needs him to do. That's not going to happen with Sean Payton.
No.
Sean Payton's going to come in here and he's going to tell him, you're going to do what I need you to do, or I don't care. I'll play your backup.
And there was a little rumbling going around Mobile of apparently there was a pretty honest heart-to-heart between Russell Wilson and Sean Payton before he took this job of, I'm going to give you a year, but I'm not dying on my shield because of you.
No.
This is my last crack at this. Sean Payton's an older guy. There's not another act after this. He is committed to Denver for 5 years. He's going nowhere. So if this doesn't work in a year, old Rusty's going to be one of those that, oh, yeah, he retired at 36. Not because he couldn't play anymore, but because nobody wanted to deal with him. And he was a 5 that thought he was a 7.
With all those weapons in the passing game, with Javonte Williams coming back healthy next year, I mean, Sean Payton has all the tools at his disposal to turn this into a winning team. Am I saying they're going to win the division? Hell no.
I don't see that in the future. Could they get in? They could get in as a wild card. I just feel like there's so many teams in that area that it's going to be Thunderdome. And you're coming in with Russell Wilson, and there's a possibility that you're going to be going up against Aaron Rodgers, possibly Derek Carr, depending on where he goes, Tua, Lamar Jackson. I mean, this is what you're competing for a wild card spot with. One of those guys in your division, whoever doesn't win it. And then you get Russell Wilson. I mean, yeah, it's great that you have Sean Payton. I think he's a very good play caller. But the rest of it doesn't do much for me. So I'm not as dogmatic that Denver will be bad as I was last year. The minute they made this deal, I went, you're going to regret that. You'll regret it in a hurry. You told me I was out of my mind, and I basically just said, don't believe me, just watch.
Yeah.
I don't feel that way anymore. I'm just not sure you have a huge ceiling. I think your ceiling is probably that 10 wins that you said. That's the best you're going to do.
Yeah, I would say so.
But your floor could be in that 7-8 win range.
And if that is the case, then you will see this all fall on the head of Russell Wilson.
No doubt.
And none of it is gonna stick to Sean Payton.
This is the same setup as we have in Dallas. We have given the scapegoat. We've already put him up on a pedestal. If this doesn't work, it's your fault, and you're the one that's going to get blamed.
You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. It is a Mock Draft Monday. Post-Senior Bowl Mock Draft Top 10 is coming up after the Sports Center update. Jeremy's Bangers are next.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt Zach with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
Make 2023 the year that you change your life and you win that battle with your weight problem. It can happen for you. I mean, I've said this time and time again in my life. I'm going to do better this year. I'm going to lose the weight. 2022, that was the year for me. The PhD weight loss program helped me lose more than 90 pounds last year. PhD's the way to go.
Many people in the new year say, new year, new me. The only problem is that they use a lot of the same tendencies, which leads to new year, same you. Sometimes you need a little help, and that's what PhD gives you. They give you plenty of the food. They give you all the direction, all the guidance. If it works for a guy like me that was as lazy with my food choices as I was, it will work for you. PhD weight loss.
I lived all of my adult life around the 300-pound mark, and now I'm down around 200 pounds, and I feel infinitely better, as you can imagine. Go to myphdweightloss.com today. It's myphdweightloss.com.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelley Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
The Ingles 2023 Southern Conference Downtown Dribble and Kids Fest, presented by Champion Credit Union, will be held Saturday, March 4th, 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. at the Roger McGuire Greene at Peck Square Park. The Downtown Dribble will feature interactive games, inflatables, pep bands, cheerleaders, and parade. Each participant will receive a basketball, Downtown Dribble t-shirt, and a ticket to the noon session quarterfinal basketball games. Check-in will begin at 9:30 a.m. at Roger McGuire Greene. To register, visit downtowndribble.eventbrite.com.
Meet Joe A,
Hi.
Joe B,
Hello.
and Joe C.
What's up?
3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A is locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with AutoSave. And Joe C's Chase banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect, support for what's next. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
O'Reilly. Protect your engine with Syntec Full Synthetic Motor Oil at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Syntec is designed for today's engines to dissipate heat and reduce friction and wear. Get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select oil filter for just $33.99, plus 2 times O-Rewards points. Choose Syntec, available exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Coffee store closes on.
Give them the money. Then when you get the money, you get the power.
That watch costs more than your car.
Then when you get the power, then you get the woman.
2 and 3 Friday with the double loss on Carolina Duke. Both of those teams are hard to watch and hard to trust. This is Green on Green, brought to you by Ingles Markets. Low prices, love the savings. We made it through the weekend without watching 1 second of the Pro Bowl, and from everything I can tell, I'm counting that as a win. Not the usual stacked slate of games in the NBA or college, but we do have a few that we can take advantage of. First, number 19 Miami is a 3.5-point favorite at home against Duke. We played this game a couple weeks ago in Cameron, and it was very obvious who the better team was. Duke got a little taste of that stereotypical home cooking from the officials. Not a judgment, just an observation. And we're able to get the win. This time, we're in Miami with a Duke team that's coming off an emotional victory over bitter rival North Carolina. Miami got a huge win Saturday at Clemson, and their big three played over 33 minutes apiece. The rest factors should be pretty even, but this game being in Miami makes me lean to the Hurricanes. They're the better team, the more experienced team, and I have a funny feeling the young Dukies are going to lay an egg tonight. Canes minus 3.5. Next, Texas is a 4.5-point dog at number 9 Kansas. Here's another game where we're looking at short rest. As with Duke and Miami, that means the team that's able to lean on depth has a drastic advantage. Kansas in the bottom 20 nationally in minutes from their bench at just 21.9% of minutes played. Texas gets almost a third of their minutes from the bench, and that's enough for me. This game is at Allen Fieldhouse, so I wouldn't be shocked if the home crowd was enough to lift an inconsistent Jayhawk team to victory, but I can't see them covering 4.5, which feels like too many points to give to a team that's better than you. Hook 'em plus 4.5. I'm willing to go money line, but I'm much less confident there, and I'm going under the 146. Moving to the NBA, and it's a really gross slate, but there is one matchup that sticks out to me. The Sacramento Kings are a 5.5-point favorite at Houston, over-unders 234. This number is low because the Kings have lost 3 in a row without De'Aaron Fox. Good chance he returns tonight, but let's say he doesn't. I'm pretty sure I could lace up the old Jordan 11s and hang 20 on virtually anybody the Rockets could throw at me, and I'm
35 years old. I am divorced, and I live in a van down by the river.
That should tell you everything you need to know. This Rockets team is bad defensively, and I don't really care who the Kings have active. This has crush spot written all over it. Give me the Kings minus 5.5, and I actually think they score enough to take this over the 234. And it's all due to the simple fact that I look at the Rockets and think,
well, I'm here to tell you that you're probably going to find out as you go out there that you're not going to amount to jack squat.
For more, follow us on all the social medias at The Sportsocracy. And as always, Green on Green is brought to you by Ingles Markets. Love the savings with Ingles. Love the winnings with me. Mull it out.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Mild numbers to get the week started here in the Carolinas. We've got some mid-60s in the Wednesday forecast. Looks like we try to stay above average all week long. Low tonight down to 34 degrees. Mostly cloudy Tuesday, a high of 60. Mid-60s on Wednesday, and then some wet weather coming in Thursday, Friday with some rain showers. Turning cooler into the weekend. By Saturday, high temps only around 37. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. Hiring can be a headache. That's why there's Indeed, the hiring platform that removes the hassle. Sponsor a job and immediately get a short list of quality candidates. And you can schedule and conduct video interviews right on their site. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Staples Print and Marketing is committed to quality and printing perfect every time. Now at Staples, get $10 off your document printing and marketing materials order of $50 or more. Offer ends $225. See staples.com/store/printbig for details. Try Staples and see the difference.
Are you a business owner, CEO, or responsible for marketing? If you are, iHeartMedia can help you reach your goals and find new customers. We reach more consumers in your target area than anyone else. And we can give you access to those potential customers more cost-effectively across radio, digital, podcasting, and social. We'd love to show you how iHeartMedia can work for you. From your cell, dial pound 250 and say keyword great results. That's pound 250 and say great results.
Live from Radio Row, it's Super Bowl week, and there's no better way to stay up to speed than with the Around the NFL podcast. Join me, Dan Hansis, and my buds, Mark Sessler and Greg Rosenthal, for the latest football news with just a touch of mirth.
We've got the #1 football podcast in the world, and Rihanna is playing the Apple Music halftime show. It doesn't get much better than that, guys.
Hang out with us live from Glendale, Arizona all week long. Listen to Around the NFL on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcast.
The Sportsocracy.
You are a regular nuclear meltdown. You better cool off.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. NFL fans will have to wait another year for Tom Brady in the broadcast booth. The recently retired quarterback told Fox's The Herd with Colin Cowherd he'll begin his role as a broadcaster with Fox during the 2024 NFL season. Last year, Brady signed a 10-year, $375 million deal with Fox to be its #1 NFL game analyst. Kyrie Irving's in Dallas today for his physical with the Mavericks, a day after the blockbuster trade from Brooklyn. The Nets need to use the picks they acquired in that deal to improve their roster ahead of Thursday's deadline, advises our Jay Williams.
Frankly, I think if you're Kevin Durant, you're looking at this as an evaluation year. You're saying, hey, look, I took my extension. I am here. Is this team moving in the right direction? Do we feel like I trust in Sean Marks and Joe Tsai to help me win a championship? And by the end of the year, if you don't have better clarity on where that is, you can ask for a trade.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max co-host Jay Williams on Greene. Durant, who asked the Nets for a trade last summer, is under contract through the 2025-2026 season. Irving, by the way, set to make his Mavs debut against the Clippers Wednesday night, 10 Eastern, ESPN TV.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. Fortunately, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. It's a good thing, too, because having a home is hard work. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. Geico.com. Easy.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Money. That's money. Enter it now.
Log on now to ESPNAVL.com. And good luck from ESPN Asheville.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy, presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
You are in the Sportsocracy, and it is ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400, Monday of Super Bowl week. But this past week was Senior Bowl week.
One of the great weeks of the year. Me and Armchair with a live stream for you for what was I'm not gonna put lipstick on this pig. That was hard to watch. That might be the worst group of quarterbacks I've ever seen at an All-Star game, and I've been doing this for a long time. If you need a quarterback, you better be in the top 9 because there are no other solutions.
It is a mock draft Monday here in the Sportsocracy. Time for Flostradamus's look into the post-Senior Bowl mock draft.
You said it wrong. Mock Draft Monday.
You know I can't do that. I can't make my throat do that thing, or I will never be able to finish the show.
Alex S. said I am the Sam Kinison of sports, and I think that might be the nicest thing anybody's ever said to me.
Yeah. There's a lot of screaming that goes on, and yeah.
It also made me want to put on a burlap trench coat and cut a promo for this here program, and I think it might just do it.
You should. You absolutely should. So, Mock Draft Monday here in the Sportsocracy. Don't forget you can get the Sportsocracy everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. You can see us live on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com. Click that live video link. Subscribe to the channel. That gets you into the chat, and it also gives you those live alerts whenever we are live, like this past weekend, with Armchair Commentary and Flostradamus doing their live reactions to the Senior Bowl. So the quarterback play was not great.
That's being nice.
Understatement of the weekend. What else caught your eye during the Senior Bowl?
There were a lot of running backs. I was very impressed with several of them. The receiving core class this year is insane, which is why there's not one in my top 10. I think they're all going to get pushed down because there's so many.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I saw Zay Flowers at 13 the other day, and I laughed and went, "That's not happening."
Wow. I've seen him in the second round of
That's probably where he falls. Back into the first. I think you're going to see a run, and it will probably start in the early 20s, and you'll see a bunch of them. Tight end, this is probably the best tight end class I've ever graded. And that's coming from the tight end whisperer. And I'm telling you right now, Michael Mayer is a D-O-double-G dog. And so is Dalton Kincaid, and so is Luke Musgrave. Mm-hmm. And there are more. It's not just those three. Offensive line, it's beauty's in the eye of the old beer holder.
Right.
Depends on what you need.
There are a lot of them you like, though.
Oh, yeah. Cody Mock, which is my doppelganger. I feel like when we go to the draft, I need to meet Cody Mock, and he and I need to go see who can eat the most domestic lights.
Cody Mock.
And when I say eat, I mean beverage inside the can and the can, because that goat is eating the can.
Cody Mock, who went to North Dakota State looking more like formerly Fat Tank Spencer and ended up leaving looking like Jeremy Greene.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like fat Jeremy Greene.
Oh, yeah, before PhD weight loss.
Right.
He, yeah. In our YouTube chat, Gage Camplin
I'm your huckleberry.
asked us what's the weakest position in the draft. Linebacker's not great. To me, it's good on the high side because there's a few I like.
Mm-hmm.
Defensive tackle. You get past Jalen Carter, Tyree Wilson, if that's how you view him, it gets early in a hurry. So you're gonna have to get one of those early if you're after it. Mm-hmm. Other than that, there's not really a huge weakness. There's just not a lot of high side guys, which leads me into the first pick here. I did a little digging, and our buddy Matt Miller from ESPN National put out his first 2-round mock draft today. And in it, I'm going to read this verbatim. Multiple teams in the top 10 could try to move up to number 1 to land their quarterback of choice. The problem is nobody's dead sold on quarterbacks. This is something I've been waiting to say to Bears fans for about 2 weeks. Because, see, the fun of when we put out mock drafts is we cut them up and we put them out 1,000 different times. And so I see all of your comments. This is the thing that I cannot for the life of me understand why I'm having to explain it. Every Bears fan has said, well, we're not sold on any quarterback, so somebody will give us a Godfather offer to move up. Think about what you just said. So you have a quarterback that's a career 59% passer, and you're not sold that any of the guys in this draft are better than him, and you think somebody's going to mortgage their future to come up and get one?
What makes you think everybody else is so sold?
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. That's like opening a lemonade stand and going, well, I don't like lemonade, but you'll pay $10 for this cup because you're just that thirsty. No, I'll go drink from a garden hose down the way.
Right.
It'll satiate me too.
But we do this every year, and as long as you have the number 1 pick, you feel like it should be a king's ransom for anybody to move up to that number 1 spot.
Well, in the last 30 years, the number 1 pick has only been moved a handful of times. The last time was 2016. Tennessee had it. They gave it up with a 4th and a 6th. They got back a 1 that year, a 1 in 2017, 2 2s in 2016, and 2 3s.
Mm-hmm.
You will not even begin to sniff that. I mean, I'm talking half of that. And in his article, Matt Miller said he has Indianapolis moving up. They give up 4 and 35 this year, a 4th rounder this year, and a 2024 3rd rounder, which is more accurate to what it's been in many years ago times to get up here. I would say there are a handful of teams that would do that. And by a handful, I mean 3. Houston, Indianapolis, Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard, well, Tennessee called. Of course they did. First of all, Chicago's not moving down that low. They'd be stupid to do it. This is a 5-player draft on the high side. They ain't moving out of the top 5. They will go no lower than 4. So if they trade out, which in this case I have them doing, they're not going further than Indianapolis.
Mm-hmm.
So I took Matt Miller's trade of 4, 35, a 4 this year, and next year's 3rd rounder, and Indianapolis moves up to number 1.
Okay. And with the number 1 pick, the Indianapolis Colts would take
Will Levis, quarterback out of Kentucky.
Now, why would you move up to get a quarterback that, I don't know, lots of projections say he'll be there at 4?
He will not be there at 4.
Okay.
If he were to fall past 2, which I don't find to be likely. So you got to understand, Bryce Young is the most polished quarterback in this class, beyond a shadow of a doubt. He's also going to be the smallest quarterback ever taken in the first round, at least in the modern era.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you want to go back to like Sonny Jurgensen times? Okay, maybe there was some 190-pound quarterback.
But smaller than Kyler, smaller than Baker.
He's just thinner. And so I feel like if a team moves up, it's going to be because they think they can build things around it. I have been told Indianapolis is enamored with Will Levis. It's early in the process, but Indy has known they needed a quarterback since about week 3. So the scouts have been deep diving.
Mm-hmm.
I would say they're not done, but there's a reason Will Levis didn't play at the Senior Bowl, and it's not because he's betting on himself. It's because somebody is telling him, we're in love, don't do anything.
Yep.
So he's not going to throw at the combine. He's not going to run. You've seen everything of him you're going to see. He's got a gigantic arm. And so if you're going to fall on the sword of we're going to trade up to do this, you have to get somebody that has a tremendous high side. I don't necessarily think Bryce Young has trade up for him high side. If he falls in your lap, great. And I think he'd be a great player if you put things around him. Jalen Hurts is actually one of the reasons that I'm looking at Bryce Young going, you can figure this out. I get that he's thin. You're going to have to spend money on the offensive line. He also protects himself really well.
Mm-hmm.
But if you trade up for Bryce Young and he lives hurt, you're LMNO fired.
Mm-hmm.
Will Levis is a guy that I'm not saying he won't get you fired because he could. He's way more pro-ready than people think. And this is where we fall into this really stupid narrative of, well, he threw interceptions in the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if it would be one thing if he threw interceptions in the Pac-12 where nobody plays defense. He was playing in the best conference in America. The best player on that team other than him was in the Senior Bowl this week, and he looked lost.
Mm-hmm.
He was the one running back that looked like he did not belong on the field. And so I look at Will Levis and go, there's not many guys that are built like that can run like that. He's very modern NFL of I can move. If you remember, he was the running quarterback at Penn State ahead of Sean Clifford.
Yeah.
So it's not like this guy's a statue. He's a big old giant kid, and the more you watch the tape, the more you're going to fall in love with it. And then you realize the one big caveat that nobody wants to talk about. The offensive coordinator changed this year, and everything went to a big flaming grumper on your doorstep in a brown bag that you stepped on.
Mm-hmm.
That's more on the system than it is on Will Levis. He's got a huge arm. And him with Michael Pittman would be intoxicating. And if I can get up there for a 2 and a 3 and a 4, okay. I can recoup that in later years. If I'm Indy next year, let's say I'm picking at 16, I can trade down and get all of those picks back minus 35.
Mm-hmm.
And Chicago, all you really did was add a 3 and a 4 and the pick that you stupidly traded for Chase Claypool. Congratulations. And now you lose your choice of defensive playmaker.
So the thought for Indianapolis has to be, I got to get above Houston because they can take Will.
I think 2 is probably Will's drop dead. I don't think he's falling below Houston. And I'm going to be honest with you, the reason that I say that is who they hired at coach. I struggle to believe that a hard-nosed coach like D'Amico Ryans that believes in playing defense that way is going to take a quarterback that's that little.
Mm-hmm.
And he came from San Francisco where what has he watched for the last 4 years? Quarterback injuries keep rings off his finger.
Yeah.
I don't believe he's going to take a quarterback that's that little unless he just falls in his lap. Now, if Levis is off the board, and now I'm deciding between C.J. Stroud and Young and Anthony Richardson, okay. Now I didn't have to move up to get anything, to do anything. He fell in my lap. I can build an offense around it, but I'm going to go very kid gloves with that.
How much would you be willing to put on Will Levis being the number 1 quarterback taken in this class?
Right now?
Yeah.
I probably couldn't go over $100.
Yeah.
I probably couldn't go over because I don't know who's going to have to pick.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, this was a narrative all week long in Alabama. I've heard this from virtually every person that was there. Chicago, there is a great chance that exactly what we're seeing Derek Carr do right now is what the rest of the NFL is going to do with Chicago. We know you don't want to take a quarterback. Now, we might put you in the corner and you might call our bluff and do it, and then we're all going to go, well, we overplayed our hand there a little bit, and we didn't mean to.
Right.
there's a reason it's still out there. There's a reason that everybody talks about it. And Chicago's playing this very close to the vest because they want to see what their options are. And for me, this will be what comes out with the full mock draft that'll be unrolling this week. What would Jeremy do if I'm Chicago and I can go down to 4 and add a couple day 2 picks? That's what I got. Mm-hmm. I lose my choice of defender, and I pass on a couple quarterbacks that could become franchise guys for Justin Fields, who's 2 years away from getting paid. And I keep hearing this comparison to Jalen Hurts. He's not as good a thrower as Jalen Hurts is. He's got a bigger arm, much more inconsistent. And you're never going to put that around him. Mm-hmm. I mean, really look at what's around Jalen Hurts right now. A.J. Brown is a top 8 in the NFL wide receiver. Devontae Smith's top 25. Dallas Goedert's a top 5 tight end. You got a handful of running backs that are good, not great, and the best offensive line in the league. How in the world do you think Chicago is going to put anything that even resembles that?
They can't.
How are they going to give you the wish version of that around Justin Fields? They're not. And so that's where I'm at. I'm taking the quarterback. Mm-hmm. I'll trade Justin Fields. If somebody else wants to fall on that grenade, Atlanta, a couple others, more power to you. You pay him. I'm not going to do it. But in this scenario, they move down with Indianapolis. Indianapolis goes to 1 against Will Levis.
All right, Houston comes in at number 2 in the NFL draft. When we come back from the break, we'll talk about what Houston could possibly do at number 2. There are sources that say they may not be looking at a quarterback either. We'll discuss that next.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is slowing 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. Light delays 26 westbound between Long Shoals Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. An accident reported on Patton Avenue at Haywood Street. The right lane blocked. Sardis Road northbound is slow between Bavard Road and Sand Hill Road. Sweeten Creek Road north and southbound approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. Hendersonville Road northbound approaching the Blue Ridge Parkway slow. I'm Lyndon Field with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. The new Crispy Melt Taco is now at Taco Bell. It's a freshly fried shell with a melty cheese blend and your choice of seasoned beef or black beans inside. Try it today at participating Taco Bell locations for a limited time only, while supplies last. Contact local stores for prices, hours, and participation which vary. Tax extra.
Of course, your favorite station is on the free iHeartRadio app. Take us with you anywhere and listen anytime. Plus, get thousands of other stations and playlists all free. Download our free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts.
iHeartRadio. Meet Joe A, hi, Joe B, hello, and Joe C. What's up? 3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A is locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with AutoSave. And Joe C's Chase banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect, support for what's next. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Today on Hey Culligan, smooth skin and soft hair comes from where? Here's Mike.
Hey Culligan, I've tried every conditioner, lotion, and body wash known to man, and my skin still feels like sandpaper.
It could be your water, Mike.
Oh, that's harsh.
More like hard water. Are you interested in smart, high-efficiency water softeners from Culligan Water?
Huh?
Want baby smooth skin and soft, luxurious hair?
Yeah, can you hurry? I have a date tonight.
We're already on the way, Mike. Let us help you out with the free in-home water test from a local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
All right, people, it's Valentine's Day. Everything has to be perfect.
At Ingles, we know that not every Valentine's Day is 4-star perfection, with string quartets and swanky restaurants.
My boyfriend bought me flowers.
That it's not the money you spend or the elaborate lengths you go to.
Happy Valentine's Day.
It just has to come from the heart. Ingles, we're with you every step of the way.
When I finally drove the old car into the grave, I knew there was only one place I was going to go. Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville, home of the family plan. And yes, they treat you like family. I went in, told them what I was looking for, told them my budget, and in no time, I was signing the paperwork on my certified pre-owned vehicle. They have the area's largest selection on quality pre-owned vehicles and certified Nissans. They go through a 167-point inspection, so you know it's not going to let you down. They gave me the Carfax report, so I know the history of my vehicle. And the Fred Anderson family plan gives me things like oil changes and car washes and loaner cars if I have to have major work done on the car in the future. For me, buying a car has always been an intimidating thought. But the folks at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville made it super easy. Don't be like me. Don't wait till the last minute to get a deal done. Go to AndersonNissan.com or stop by the showroom at 629 Brevard Road. And don't forget to mention we sent you from the Sportsocracy and get a $250 bonus on your trade-in at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
The Sportsocracy.
Why are you smiling? Because I love football.
A fresh look at Flostradamus's post-Senior Bowl mock draft here on a Mock Draft Monday. Do it.
Mock Draft Monday.
Yeah, see, I can't do that. Stretching the vocal cords. Houston Texans have the number 2 pick in the draft.
Before we move to Houston,
okay.
Gage asked if Levis reminded me of Wentz at all before the ACL. I get the comparison. To me, Will Levis is more Josh Allen. Yeah, there are turnover issues. He's really dynamic. Mm-hmm. And you put him with the right set of weapons. I love the thought of him with Michael Pittman and Alec Pierce, who can be a field stretcher, and they add somebody else. And the running game. That's where a lot of people seem to not see where I'm headed with Will Levis. I'm putting Jonathan Taylor behind him. So, yeah, this was not a great year. He's still an elite running back in this league. Mm-hmm. And so you add all those pieces together. To me, that's an ideal fit for Will Levis because he's not going to be asked to do too much. I do think Jeff Saturday is going to be the coach there. I think No Smiles asked that in the comments. That's with Jeff Saturday. Mm-hmm. That strikes me as where this organization is going. It's not going to be little Bryce Young or the risky C.J. Stroud.
So do the Houston Texans take a quarterback at 2? Because – Matt Miller said it in his mock draft that apparently one rival scout that he talked to said they didn't expect that Houston was going to draft a quarterback. But you have to, right?
Yeah, that's what a lie sounds like.
Yeah, you're at the top of the draft. I get that you have DeMeco Ryans coming in as the defensive guy to take over your head coaching job, but you can't pass up on the opportunity for one of these top quarterbacks.
You can, but if you do, you're basically telling the NFL, we're going to be absolutely awful next year, and we think we're going to be in a position to take Caleb Williams or Drake May or Quinn Ewers or whoever else winds up at the top of that class.
Because you would be.
And I get it. I just think that's going to be a tough sell. And I'm not telling you it's the wrong idea. I think there's a merit to doing that. I just don't know who it is that I don't know who it is that you think you're going to take.
Will Anderson.
Okay, so now he's the only pass rusher on this team.
You got to start somewhere.
And DeMeco Ryans is historically a 4-man front guy. I don't like Will Anderson with his hand in the dirt nearly as much as I like him standing up. It's going to look like a bust a year from now because he's going to have 6 sacks in his rookie year, and people are going to go, we bypassed a quarterback for that? Mm-hmm. Jadeveon Clowney. We've already seen this happen with this franchise. I just think it sets a bad tone, especially if who I ultimately have them taking falls in your lap at 2, and that is Alabama quarterback Bryce Young. It's one thing to go get him. It's another to have him fall directly in your lap. Mm-hmm. And that's what happens here. The thing you have to remember about Houston, first of all, they got a couple pieces of that offensive line. They think Kenyon Green's a long-term solution at guard. You got one of the best left tackles in the league. You have a real lack of weapons. But you also have the 12th pick in the draft. You got a lot of draft capital in a draft that's pretty good when it comes to weapons. And you get John Mechie back next year, who's already familiar with Bryce Young. So, to me, all of those pieces line up, and it just makes the most sense.
I like Bryce Young.
I like Bryce Young a lot. I feel like people throw shade at him, and I'm not 100% sure I understand why.
I have said that I don't feel like there's a huge difference between him and C.J. Stroud, and you have told me I am wrong about that. But I do like Bryce better.
Oh, there's a difference between him and C.J. Stroud. The high side on Bryce Young is higher than it is on Stroud.
Mm-hmm. I will agree with that.
But we'll get into him We'll get into him in just a bit.
I love his mobility, his ability to make dudes miss. And I think that's going to come in handy in Houston because I think you're going to have a lot of pressure issues.
Well, and the thing you got to realize with Bryce Young is he takes better care of himself than practically any quarterback I've ever seen. Nick Saban damn near had to force him to start actually breaking the pocket because he didn't want to.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you see him do that, I mean, be really honest with yourself. Who this past year where Bryce Young was very, very good, what did he have in terms of weapons? It was Cameron Latu and Jermaine Burton, and there's not a lot there. I mean, I understand he had Jahmyr Gibbs, which was a nice little luxury. But it's not like he had high-end weapons. Everybody makes these arguments about, well, Alabama has so much more talent than anybody else. Not this year, they didn't.
Yeah.
Ohio State did. Again, we'll get to that momentarily.
Mm-hmm. So Houston Texans, number 2, will take
Bryce Young.
Number 3, the Arizona Cardinals.
I can't see how this doesn't happen. I've gotten some pushback on this, and I don't understand it.
Okay.
Alabama edge rusher Will Anderson. Arizona historically has liked height, weight, speed guys.
Mm-hmm.
I understand you have a new GM now. You don't have an all-new scouting department. They've always fallen in love with this. I'm fully of the belief that Lou Anarumo is going to be the next coach of the Arizona Cardinals. And if you look at what he has done historically, yes, he's had a B.J. Hill. Yes, he's had a D.J. Reader. You do realize that they're not heavily invested in any of those guys, right? Reader was a big free agent signing, but that's not really what Jalen Carter is. Jalen Carter, to me, is more in that Aaron Donald 3-4 end area, and he will be very dynamic there.
Mm-hmm.
But I just feel like Lou Anarumo is going to look at Will Anderson and go, that's the pass rusher I need. The other problem I have with Arizona taking Jalen Carter, you already have Zach Allen. I'm not saying he's as good a player, but you can have that interior presence and Will Anderson for the low price of about $20 million. Why would you not do that?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have a pass rusher like Will Anderson. There's nothing you can do to add that. There's not one in free agency. This is your path to getting one of those.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Lou Anarumo is going to want one of those, and that's the reason that I think it's Will Anderson here.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. That brings us to the number 4 pick, Chicago Bears. Let's get weird first.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
All right, let's take a trip up to Indianapolis, to the Indiana state capitol. The state Senate up in Indiana has passed a bill that would, well, it would make something legal that's illegal right now that I don't really see a reason why we need to make this legal. It's throwing stars. Throwing stars are going to be now legal in Indiana if the bill gets final approval. The bill was introduced, and it would lift the ban for recreational use for throwing stars. And apparently, Senate Bill 77, the idea for it came from a putt-putt golf course called Ninja Golf.
Ninja Golf.
Whoa.
Sorry.
What are you going to do? Why do we need throwing stars at the Ninja Golf place?
Because it's Ninja Golf.
I guess. And one of the arguments about this is, well, if we have axe throwing bars, then we should be able to have Ninja Stars bars.
I'm telling you right now, first one opens, I will be the face. I don't care where it is.
I just feel like all of the things that you could do during putt-putt throwing Ninja Stars is not.
The only requirement is that you have to let me wear my Diamond Dave costume and go Ninja Star every time I throw one.
Of course, there are the detractors that say this is not good. Theoretically, this is a double-edged sword.
I mean, literally, because a throwing star is a double-edged.
Yeah, and if you're throwing it, I feel like there could be greater risk for injury.
I've always thought that about axe throwing places. I mean, first of all, that's a lot of fun. I've been to the one that's right below the studio. It's a whole mess of fun.
Mm-hmm.
But there are certain words that just don't really go together. Axe throwing bar.
No. Sounds like a horrible idea.
Oh, in the comments, give us the best 3 words that don't go together that we can say on the radio.
One of the suggestions for how to make this safer, because Ninja Stars, they are smaller. They're not as durable as axes, so there's more opportunity for them to bend and, cut somebody and all of that. Well, maybe the solution is that all players are required to wear a layer of Kevlar while you're throwing Ninja Stars.
I mean, I go back to, we do throw axes.
I guess. It would only be, of course, permitted at certain businesses. However, children ages to 12 to 17, you could throw stars. But you have to, of course, have a parent's written permission to do so. I feel like this is just a bad idea.
What are you, a cop? My story is about a promotion unlike any other. February, we all know this is Valentine's Day just around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a little over a week away. And a well-known entity is incentivizing that you show your love in their location. Cracker Barrel is offering free food for a year.
For a year?
For a year.
What do I got to do?
It's 2 entrees once a week for 52 weeks.
Okay.
The only thing you have to do is get engaged at a Cracker Barrel location across the nation. Nay, there are some stipulations. You have to record a video of this, and you have to record a video of this, post it on your social medias with the hashtag I said yes at Cracker Barrel and hashtag contest. I have just a slew of questions. 1, who in the world gets engaged at Cracker Barrel? I'm going to be really honest with you. If Annie Fox loves Cracker Barrel, so about once a month, once every other month, we wind up at breakfast at Cracker Barrel.
Mm-hmm.
If we were sitting there one morning and I see some guy who for some reason is in a pair of overalls in my head, don't ask why.
Of course he is.
Gets down on one knee and says, Darlene, I love you.
Of course their name had to be Darlene.
And I want you to spend the rest of your life with me. Would you take this ring and marry me and say yes at the Cracker Barrel? If I saw that, when I got done just hysterically laughing, and I'd ruin the moment for everybody around, beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Of course he would.
I would, without a doubt, have to send a round of biscuits and gravy to the entire table. Like, hey, opa, let's do this.
Aren't the biscuits free?
Maybe. I don't know. It might be.
I don't know. Hey, a round of biscuits on me.
Are they going to have shirts that say, I said yes at Cracker Barrel?
They should.
I mean, because frankly, I would wear one of those shirts if at the bottom of that shirt was a plate of biscuits and gravy, because that's what I'm saying yes to at the Cracker Barrel. Do you get one of those little peg game things as a complimentary gift? Is that like your wedding gift from the Cracker Barrel?
Here's the thing that I don't get.
Do they give you an oversized lollipop? I can do this for a really long time.
So is this guaranteed? Is this guaranteed that if I ask my significant other to marry me at said Cracker Barrel, do I get the year's worth of dinners?
Not necessarily. It is limited to 5 couples nationwide.
Cheapskates.
Now, that leads into another question. Do we actually think there are 5 couples that will do this?
Yes. 100%
really?
There are. Absolutely.
Well, I mean,
there are 5 of them in Candler.
At Sports Day ESPN. So, I mean, I don't pay a lot of attention. I just kind of hand a credit card. I'm thinking 2 entrees at Cracker Barrel is like $20 a week. $20 a week times 52 weeks, you're looking at about $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know that that's incentive enough for me to go, our special moment happened at the Cracker Barrel.
That's a lot of Grandpa's country breakfast. Man.
That's our place with the smoked meats. They do have beer now, though.
I'm gonna need all of those.
That's how
Grandpa's country breakfast with the chicken fried steak.
Well, I'm getting married in 3 months anyway. So the only way that this would work for me is if I took my lovely soon-to-be wife, Amy, And we had a lovely breakfast at Cracker Barrel. And I sampled the domestic light menu because they have that now.
Right. For
And
breakfast?
Yeah.
Nice.
What are you, a cop? And after 8 of them, I went, hey, get your phone out and watch this. Give me your ring. Don't get that on tape. It's very important.
Look, I can't think of a better place. I mean, you're surrounded by sweet, sweet smells of country cooking, and you got the nice little ambiance of the giant fireplace in the middle, and all of those old SO signs just everywhere. I mean, that's the perfect decor, the perfect backdrop for let's spend the rest of our lives together rocking in rocking chairs.
And maybe, I have a very sweet, lovely, soon-to-be wife. I feel like if I had proposed at a Cracker Barrel, after she got done laughing, she would have told me to get up and finish my granddad's breakfast, and to stop being weird. People are looking at us at the Cracker Barrel.
You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Post-Senior Bowl mock draft top 10 continues next.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Wild numbers to get the week started here in the Carolinas. We've got some mid-60s in the Wednesday forecast. Looks like we try to stay above average all week long. Low tonight down to 34 degrees. Mostly cloudy Tuesday, a high of 60. Mid-60s on Wednesday, and then some wet weather coming in Thursday, Friday with some rain showers. Turning cooler into the weekend. By Saturday, high temps only around 37. I'm meteorologist Scott Lariamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is slowing 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 240 westbound on the Cap and Jeff Owen Bridge, very busy. Patton Avenue, traffic volume is light. New Leicester Highway, no problems. Smoky Park Highway, no backups. Charlotte Highway, delay-free. Sweeten Creek Road southbound, approaching Mills Gap Road, some light backups. Hendersonville Road, no problems. Checking the drive time from Swannanoa to Asheville, via 40 westbound and 240 westbound, drive time 16 minutes. I'm Lee Benfield with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Discover. We could talk about how complicated other banks make it to redeem credit card rewards. Or we could talk about how with Discover, you can redeem your rewards for cash in any amount at any time. Talk about amazing. Learn more at discover.com/redeem rewards. Terms apply.
Wendy's home-style French toast sticks are so delicious, some are saying that they're better than their mom's breakfast.
Excuse me, did you just say Wendy's French toast sticks are better than my breakfast?
Mom, is that you?
Answer the question.
I said some people are saying that because they're so crispy on the outside and fluffy on the inside and perfect in every way.
Uh-huh. And what do you think?
I think it's time to tell people to choose wisely. Choose Wendy's sweet and crispy home-style French toast sticks.
That's still not an answer.
At participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
The Sportsocracy.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
You are in the Sportsocracy, and it is ESPN Asheville. Alex S. in the YouTube comments asks, what is the best mid-tier restaurant for this? Says he's thinking Chili's.
I mean, for me, and this is just me, if you're going to do it at any mid-tier restaurant, it's at Applebee's. Dollar Margs, let's go. Nothing makes bad decisions faster than Dollar Margs.
That's not bad.
In a very small glass.
That's not bad. Eating good in the neighborhood.
Oh,
You
yeah.
just want to get married or get engaged in front of all your friends.
And I'll be honest with you, I could totally see how that conversation would go with Amy and I. We're doing a promotion at Applebee's. I'll give you a $50 gift card if you get engaged at Applebee's. We've been engaged for quite some time. You want to go drink 20 apiece and see if we can put on a show? See if maybe we get in the old newspaper. Local fat man hammered proposes at an Applebee's.
I believe I'd rather get engaged at a McDonald's than do it at an Applebee's.
I would somehow find a way to incorporate that baby back ribs. I want you to be my baby back. Ring on finger. Win!
Nice. TGI Fridays has also been mentioned. It's not a bad option.
Oh, for me, it's Applebee's. Bennigan's. I feel like they'd come out and sing to you at Bennigan's.
Yeah.
They have a song for that. They have a song for everything. We got divorced. Send in the singers.
It is. Let's continue here with the post-Senior Bowl mock draft.
There is somebody somewhere that is laughing really hard going, these two are morons.
100%. 100%.
That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for.
Logans. Don't you bring Logans into this. That is
Oh, no. The right answer, unequivocally the right answer, Golden Corral. That's no doubt. Right beside the chocolate fountain.
Yep.
That's where you do it. That's how you do it, people. That is romance. A1 since day one. Let's go.
Problem is, you're probably going to lose the ring because, somebody's going to put that thing in the fountain.
Oh, Kevin Vick said Olive Garden. Use the don't even bring a ring. Just use the
breadstick.
Use the breadstick ring. There you go, baby. We do this classy around here.
It is the Sportsocracy. We're at pick number 4. Now with the trade with the Indianapolis Colts moving up to number 1 to get the quarterback Will Levis that they want. Chicago Bears trade back to 4. So who would they take in Flostradamus's post-Senior Bowl mock draft?
Jalen Carter, beyond a shadow of a doubt. And that's the reason they're not going back further than 4. So Carolina, Atlanta, the Raiders, any of these teams that you keep seeing, they could trade up to 1. No, they can't. No, they can't. Because Chicago is not. You've got to have high-end players. Mm-hmm. Look, I understand you got $1 bajillion. You're going to have to overpay for anybody that's going to take it because this roster is bad. Bad. Now, you hit a couple players last year. I really like Jaquan Brisker. I like Kyler Gordon. That's the way that you're going to make Justin Fields work because apparently they're just dead set on doing that no matter how stupid it is.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have to be able to stop people. You're not going to be able to get in shootouts. So bulk up the defense, get Jalen Carter. Now I think you've got 3 of those positions in place and go freely spend money like a toddler with a $100 bill. Because that's about how you're going to have to do it.
Number 5, that pick belongs to the Seattle Seahawks due to the Denver Broncos trade.
I was really tempted to take a quarterback here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to. And I couldn't find a trade that really made sense. I considered Carolina, but I don't think they have to. I feel like Carolina would be looking at this going, all right, I don't think we have to worry about anything from here. So we're just going to let it ride.
You still got a couple of teams that need quarterbacks in front of Carolina.
Yeah, don't worry. We're going to get to those teams momentarily. It's Tyree Wilson, the hybrid edge defensive tackle freak of nature that is superhuman, not subhuman.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said when we did this the first time.
Yeah, not subhuman.
Yeah, he's not tank size. He's a big old biggin. And to me, that would be an ideal fit. And then you get to – they got another pick at 20. I know Seattle likes to move. I just don't know that you're going to have the opportunity. I don't know who's going to trade up at that point. Like I said, Carolina's the one that makes the most sense. I feel like Atlanta's big game hunting. The Raiders don't feel like they have to move to get the guy they want. We'll talk about that in a minute.
But Tyree Wilson, to you, would be a home run in this system.
I think he fits what they like to do, and he's so multiple. You add Jamal Adams back in. I thought about several players here, but that's the one that I don't think you could bypass. I just think he makes too much sense. And I couldn't find a value that would make it make sense for them to trade down. They killed the draft last year. You need a high side, and to me, that's the player that would give it to you at 5.
At number 6, the Detroit Lions with the Rams pick.
This is where it gets a little, all right, things have changed just a bit since we last did this. I was told by multiple people around the Senior Bowl that in the last 2 years there have been 2 corners that have gone in the top 10 both of the last 2 years, and it's going to happen again. And I'm not so sure this isn't where you see the first one. So at 6, I went Christian Gonzalez, the corner out of Oregon. There's some love-hate on this, and there was another one that goes in this top 10 as well that I considered. But Christian Gonzalez is the number 1 corner in this class. And I think the height, weight, speed on him and just that dog mentality that he has, it really fits with Dan Campbell.
And Dre Bly.
Who is now their new secondary coach.
He's now the new secondary coach over there after being eschewed from Chapel Hill. So Dre Bly goes back to his NFL home. And that would be a hell of a piece for Dre Bly to coach up.
There are 2 corners that have separated themselves from the rest of the class. Christian Gonzalez is one, and we'll talk about the other in a few minutes.
Okay. At number 7.
This is the one where people are going to get very angry.
The Las Vegas Raiders.
Anthony Richardson, quarterback out of Florida.
Oh, they can't help it. They can't help themselves when they get to those mobile speedster guys.
This is one of those Josh McDaniels. It's almost like the perfect storm of you have a guy in Mark Davis that is just dumb enough to do this. I've already seen Josh McDaniels try to do the same thing with Tim Tebow. Because to me, they're the same guy. One's just much faster than the other. They both have terrible arms. I mean, Richardson's got a great arm. He just can't corral it. The technique is terrible.
No accuracy.
No accuracy whatsoever. But now the high side, that's what's going to intoxicate them, is if we get this right, he could be Cam Newton times 3. And I know somebody's going to do it, and every person I talk to says that it's going to be the Las Vegas Raiders. And then I saw Matt Miller do the exact same thing, and I went, well, glad to hear I'm not the only one that's hearing that. Because it doesn't. Every time the Raiders come up, that name is attached to them every single time.
Wow. I mean, I feel like that's you're just begging for it. You're just begging to drop a grumper with Anthony Richardson.
Somebody's going to fall in love with him because I do think he's going to run at the combine, and I think the number he puts up at the combine will be stupid. And how many times have we seen teams do this? I'm not telling you this is what I would do. If the draft happened today, this is exactly how I think it would go. Not because I wanted to. Like I said, I think Chicago should take a quarterback at 1.
It's just so cliche for the Las Vegas Raiders.
So it's cliche for a reason.
Yeah.
It's cliche for a reason because this is what they do. They take players like this in positions like this.
But would Dave Ziegler do it?
Yes. Because I don't necessarily think he's the one calling the shots. I think he was put in place by Josh McDaniels to do Josh McDaniels' bidding.
Okay.
And that is the most Josh McDaniels thing I've ever seen. I'm going to try to do – and, all right, tinfoil hat time. The one time I've really seen things not work for New England was when they had who playing quarterback?
Cam Newton.
Who is the closest NFL comp to Anthony Richardson?
Cam Newton.
I feel like there's a little part – and he may never admit it. There's a little part of him in the back of his head going, if I made the Cam Newton doppelganger work, I'll have that over Bill forever. Even though I was there with Cam Newton. Doesn't matter. I made this work. You couldn't. And I just, the ego, the hubris, and the fact that I absolutely just keep hearing it. Every person I talk to about the Raiders says it attaches Anthony Richardson to them.
So, in other words, what you're saying is Josh McDaniels, LMNO fired.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
The number 8 pick belongs to the Atlanta Falcons. We'll give you that pick up next.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is slow 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. Hendersonville Road northbound at Airport Road, a disabled vehicle, the right lane closed. On the Smoky Park Highway northbound approaching Sand Hill Road, delays. Patton Avenue moving well. New Leicester Highway, no incidents. On the Charlotte Highway, no backups. Checking the drive time from Bent Creek to Avery Creek via NC 191 southbound. Drive time 9 minutes. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Discover. We could talk about how complicated other banks make it to redeem credit card rewards. Or we could talk about how with Discover, you can redeem your rewards for cash in any amount at any time. Talk about amazing. Learn more at discover.com/redeem rewards. Terms apply.
Let me guess. Unknown caller? You could reduce the number of unwanted calls and emails with online privacy protection. The latest innovation from Discover will help regularly remove your personal info, like your name and address, from 10 popular people search websites that could sell your data. And we'll do it for free. Activate in the Discover app. See terms and learn more at discover.com/online privacy protection.
Meet Joe A,
Hi.
Joe B,
Hello.
and Joe C.
What's up?
3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A is locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with AutoSave. And Joe C's Chase banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect, support for what's next. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Did you know that Ingles sells more organics than any other grocery store? Or that they run their own dairy? Or that they only serve USDA Choice and Prime meat? Or that they donate 3,956 meals a day to local food banks? Well, now you do. It's all in the bag.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Running a small business is no small task. At Home Trust Bank, we work hard to prepare businesses for whatever tomorrow may bring. Your dreams are our business, and we have local experts who can help you plan for a successful future. Dependable guidance you need and service you'll appreciate. At Home Trust Bank, we take your small business banking personally. Visit your local Home Trust branch or anytime at htb.com. Member FDIC.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelly Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
We are back in the Sportsocracy, the post-Senior Bowl mock draft from Flostradamus. Jeremy Greene giving you the top 10. We'll have the you'll have the full mock draft coming out after the program.
No, so it'll be coming out over the course of the next few days.
Oh, next few days
on the YouTube and all that, all of those good things. The top 10 will be out later tonight for you to see if you missed any of it.
Yes, the graphic for the top 10 will be
Correct.
out later tonight. That's kind of what I meant.
Oh, sorry.
No.
I thought you meant. We'll be unveiling this with some team-specific stuff, no matter who your team is. 2-round kind of, yeah. It's a great time to be alive.
It's a great time. It is drafting the season, and with the number 8 pick in the Flostradamus post-Senior Bowl mock draft, the Atlanta Falcons now on the clock.
Lucas Van Ness, the edge out of Iowa. I have heard no less than 10 people call Miles Murphy Cleveland Farrell 2.0, and I can't unsee it. And I think teams are going to get – I think they're going to get scared off by it. And then you get to Lucas Van Ness where you're like, man, I've only seen a very little bit of him because he's never started a game in his life. Well, college life.
Right.
But the small little bits I've seen, he's such a high-end impact pass rusher. And I think Atlanta would – and I hate to say fall for it because there are so few super high upside players in this draft. I don't think they're going to get got by another player like Miles Murphy. And the other thing you have to know about Clemson, Atlanta's been burned by this team before, and they are not really forthcoming about the issues with their players. And I'm not sure that Atlanta doesn't just look at it and go, we have them rated very similarly. We're going to go with the guy. We know what we're getting. We know he didn't have the talent around him like that. And we're just going to take the high upside.
Number 9, here it is, folks. The Carolina Panthers.
C.J. Stroud, quarterback out of Ohio State.
Is there really a possibility that he falls this far?
100%. 100% there is. And I would love it. If I was Carolina and he fell right in my lap, I'm all the way in. Because I feel like Frank Reich can build a system with DJ Moore, and whether it's Terrace Marshall, Shi Smith, whatever you do, there are enough weapons in this draft that you can put the pieces around him. The problem with C.J. Stroud is the exact same problem that I had with Justin Fields, and it all comes from Ryan Day. You have so much talent around him. And I used to scream this about Justin Fields, and now people are starting to see it. Justin Fields would drop back, stare at one receiver, and just wait for him to come open. There was never a progression. It didn't matter if the left side of the defense went home. He would have no clue because he was deadlocked on that first receiver. C.J. Stroud's a little bit better than that. He does at least progress. The only thing is that he was progressing from Jackson Smith and Jigba to Marvin Harrison. Then there was no Jackson Smith and Jigba, and it was Abuka and Harrison, and you've got all these high-level weapons. He knows they're going to come open. So he would hold the ball too long, and sometimes that would lead to him getting sacked. He's going to have to get better at that in the NFL. Now look at that Frank Reich offense and go, you know who else had that exact same problem? Nick Foles. And Frank Reich got the most out of him. So now that's, as I'm going down the rabbit hole, now that I know who the coach in Carolina is, that's a marriage that I almost can't get away from.
The number 10 pick belongs to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Devin Witherspoon, cornerback out of Illinois.
Ooh.
There are going to be 2 corners in the top 10. There is a team in the top 10 that I have been specifically told would not take Miles Murphy in the first 3 rounds. I don't know definitively that it's Philadelphia. That's the one that's screaming at me that that's who it is. Because they think they'll be able to get an edge guy later, maybe even at 31, a Will McDonald, somebody that has escalated in the process, as opposed to buying high on Miles Murphy, because that's the high side of his value. And Philadelphia's a smart team. They know what they're getting, and I'm not so sure they can bring back James Bradbury. Witherspoon would be a nice replacement there.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Look for the graphic of the top 10 of the Flostradamus post-Senior Bowl mock draft coming out on the social medias later on tonight. Coming up after the Sports Center update, it'll be daily draft time. Stock up, stock down from Senior Bowl week.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Wild numbers to get the week started here in the Carolinas. We've got some mid-60s in the Wednesday forecast. Looks like we try to stay above average all week long. Low tonight down to 34 degrees. Mostly cloudy Tuesday, a high of 60. Mid-60s on Wednesday, and then some wet weather coming in Thursday, Friday with some rain showers. Turning cooler into the weekend. By Saturday, high temps only around 37. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic slow, 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. Hendersonville Road northbound at Airport Road, a disabled vehicle, the right lane closed. On the Smoky Park Highway northbound approaching Sand Hill Road, delays. Patton Avenue moving well. New Leicester Highway, no incidents. On the Charlotte Highway, no backups. Checking the drive time from Bent Creek to Avery Creek via NC 191 southbound. Drive time 9 minutes. I'm Lee Benfield with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. The new Crispy Melt Taco is now at Taco Bell. It's a freshly fried shell with a melty cheese blend and your choice of seasoned beef or black beans inside. Try it today at participating Taco Bell locations for a limited time only, while supplies last. Contact local stores for prices, hours, and participation which vary. Tax extra. The new Crispy Melt Taco is now at Taco Bell. It's a freshly fried shell with a melty cheese blend and your choice of seasoned beef or black beans inside. Try it today at participating Taco Bell locations for a limited time only, while supplies last. Contact local stores for prices, hours, and participation which vary. Tax extra.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
The Sportsocracy.
The ceiling is the roof. Let's make it happen. Let's keep moving forward.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Tom Brady's heading to the broadcast booth, but not this fall. Less than a week after announcing his retirement after a 23-year playing career, Brady told Fox's The Herd with Colin Cowherd he'll begin his role as a broadcaster during the 2024 NFL season. Chiefs running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire, eligible to play in Super Bowl 57 after being activated from injured reserve in a corresponding move, KC receiver Mecole Hardman placed on IR. Next stop for Kyrie Irving, Dallas. A day after the blockbuster trade from Brooklyn that landed him with the Mavericks, the superstar point guard in Dallas today to take his physical. Looking ahead, Irving's fit with new Mavs teammate Luka Doncic. One concern for ESPN's Tim Legler.
I want to see how Kyrie Irving reacts to Luka Doncic's ball dominance, because this is a guy that handles the basketball and controls the basketball to a greater extent than any player in the NBA. And now you've got Kyrie Irving, who also likes to get his hands on the ball first and put that thing on the ground before he has an opportunity to go do his thing.
Irving's Dallas debut set for Wednesday against the Clippers, 10 Eastern on ESPN TV.
If you want to find quality new hires in the new year, post on Indeed. When you sponsor a post, you'll get matched instantly with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed meet your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Credit. That's credit. Enter it now.
Log on now to ESPNAVL.com. And good luck from ESPN Asheville.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
And welcome back into the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Last hour of the program for a mock draft Monday. Well, the mock draft is over. The Flostradamus post-Senior Bowl mock draft 1 through 10. If you missed it, you can go back and check it on the podcast later on tonight, or you can just go back and watch the YouTube video anytime you want to. Go to thesportsocracy.com, click that live video link, subscribe to the channel so you can get into the chat with us live each and every day. And, of course, you can get those live alerts whenever we are here in the Ingles studio on ESPN Asheville. Of course, we're heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app. And top of the third hour of the program, it's all about the daily draft. And it was Senior Bowl week. Jeremy spent all of his extra waking hours poring over the tape, watching the one-on-ones, watching the practices, watching the game. He did the live the live reaction video with our good friend David Smith of Armchair Commentary on Saturday. Y'all can go back and watch that as well if you would like on the YouTube stream. I tuned in for a while. It was a banger as always.
The game was pitifully boring. And that's what happens when you have quarterbacks that bad. I mean, it's you do the best you can when, hey, Jaden Reed's wide open again, and Jake Hayner sails one 5 yards over his head. Awesome. I'll go back and watch that rep and what would have happened if you had a competent quarterback.
Right. So, stock up, stock down from Senior Bowl week. I'll have the number one pick.
You'll have the number one pick because anytime we do draft things, we try to give you every advantage we can.
Yes.
And that's not me taking shots. It's just you don't bury yourself in film like I do because, You just don't.
Yeah,
I was going to take a shot at myself, and then I went, well, the people like it, so
Indeed.
It's not that I don't have a life. I have a great life.
One name I have I've heard a lot about from the Senior Bowl festivities this past weekend was Darnell Wright, offensive tackle out of Tennessee.
He had a very good week. I now think he is a no doubt back into the first round guy. He's a right tackle for me. I don't know that you're ever going to be able to play him on the left side, but he is definitely a player that helped himself. DeJuan Jones from Ohio State did the same thing. If you need an offensive lineman, there are a lot of guys that helped themselves this week.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you need an edge rusher, it's a kind of beauty's in the eye of the beholder. And there were some that really helped themselves, one that I'll talk about a little bit later. But that is one that to me certainly helped himself in a way that very few others did. He didn't come out with he didn't have there was no one thing that I looked at and went, that's the rep, that's the reason I'm going to take him in the first round. Mm-hmm. I always liked him anyway, and I'd had a lot of people that threw shade at me for that. And then this week I've had a lot of fun going, hey, you see that? Hey, you see that? Hey, you see that?
What's his high side? I mean, what's his window?
High side, probably Caleb McGarry, the right tackle for the Falcons. The season he had this year, not what you saw in years previous. The low side, I don't think he has much of a low side. I don't see a lot of Alex Leatherwood in him, or I'm trying to think of linemen that we've taken over the course of the last few years that were, but he killed the Senior Bowl. Yeah, but he was bad. His tape is bad. There's not a lot of that. So I would say I think he has a 7 to 10 year window as a starter in the league.
No doubt first round draft pick?
I think so. I think if you solidified yourself at the Senior Bowl, there's not going to be any, well, then he went to the combine and ran a 9 flat. Or no. If you're in the first round consideration, just skip the combine. This is one of those years that you can do that. If you killed the Senior Bowl, just take that invite for Indianapolis and go, thank you for that, and I'll show up and I'll do some interviews.
Right.
But I ain't putting on a pair of tennis shoes this whole week. It's just not going to happen. Sorry. And that's where I would be if I were him.
Okay. All right. Darnell Wright, offensive tackle out of Tennessee.
This is a name, and I'm going to go a little deeper. I'll leave the higher side guys for Tank.
I appreciate that.
Tyler Steen is an offensive tackle from Alabama, played 3 years at Vanderbilt. I have heard his name a lot. I am not as intoxicated as to say, he's going to go in the first round. No, he's not. He's going to go in the second day. Chicago is the team that I'm just, please. Okay, I mean, I still want you to do this correctly, even though you keep sending me. It's never 2Ks. Ever. It's never that. I got 3 more of those over the weekend. It's never. All right? Letter of the day, C. Okay? Learn that letter. But the thing with him is that a lot of people kind of pushed him down the board because you got Emil Ekiyor and all these different players on the line, and he was very good at Vanderbilt. Teams just avoided him because he was the best player it was very obvious he was the best player on that offensive line. So he's one of those that I call them late bloomers because you didn't actually do anything. You just didn't die. And so we're taking the same tape and we're looking at it a different way. And much like when spring shows up here in the mountains of western North Carolina, it's not that the flower actually did anything. The flower just didn't freeze. So you give it enough time and it blooms and turns into something lovely that you can be very excited about. And that's kind of where I'm at with Tyler Steen. There are some people that are just, Gary Busey at a Applebee's on Dollar Margs on this kid, and I'm not so good with that. I see Tyler Cunningham in the comments said, go look at the Derek Hall Tyler Steen tape. You can hear me laughing in the background. Yeah, I saw that one too. I like this kid a lot. And I think I would love for him to go to somewhere like Chicago because I think he's a ready-made piece because he does have so much experience in the SEC. What I think is more likely to happen is that you're going to see one of these smart teams, Pittsburgh, take him and just go, well, that's done. And just put you at right tackle forever, and that's going to be what you do. My second pick is going to be a little self-serving. If you watch the Senior Bowl stream, you probably heard it in my voice how much I absolutely love this kid. He's a day 3 pick, okay? You're going to have to be a real nerd like me to be really locked in on this kid. But to me, he had one of the best games. I think he had a great week. And I just love him. It's Evan Hull, the running back out of Northwestern. I'm not sure in a foot race he wouldn't lose to me. Okay. Just in terms of straight speed. He didn't have that. He is Rex Burkhead. I swear to you they're the same guy. If I didn't know any better, I would think Rex was going through the process again to channel his youth because that's who he reminds me of so much. And I'm not telling you he's ever going to be a 1,000-yard running back in the league. What is most likely is he's going to come in a Ramondre Stevenson type role where he is drafted to be the utility knife. Mm-hmm. And then the more snaps he gets, the more days he spends in the building, you're just not able to keep the ball out of his hand. I watched him at Northwestern in one game play quarterback, running back, fullback, slot wide receiver, and tight end. All in the same tape. And that I watched it and just went, you are going to be one of those players that I talk about a lot. And people are going to hear it and go, we got it. You love the unathletic kid from Northwestern. We're good. I love him a lot.
Also a top performer from the Senior Bowl this week. My next pick, stock up, stock down from Mobile, Osiris Torrance out of Florida. He's a guard. He's a guard. He's a guard.
And he's a guard. Guard. Anybody that tells you anything else is not good at this or actively on hallucinogens like Aaron Rodgers. That might be the biggest human I've ever seen in my life. And one of the things that irritates me about the process, Osiris Torrance killed this entire week. There was not a lost rep. There was nothing. But in the game, he came out on a pull. He gets blocked. I can't remember who it was that hit him. I'm sure Tyler Cunningham can tell me. He's as big a nerd as I am, and it's one of the many reasons I appreciate you. Mm-hmm. And he just gets annihilated backwards and falls into the running back. If that keeps you from taking him, you're not very good at this. He's one of the best guard prospects I've ever seen. And he's got legs that I swear to you are as big around as my waist. He is just a giant human. And it's worked in 2 places. It worked in the SEC. It worked in the Sun Belt with Louisiana. Mm-hmm. I can't stop giving him to Seattle for some reason. He just keeps falling into that spot every time I do this. I'm going to try to change that this time. Just gets boring saying this. It's kind of like Anthony Richardson going to your Bucks.
Right.
You're welcome, by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
You thank the Raiders for keeping him from being attached to your team again.
I think the Carolina Panthers need to thank them more than anybody.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. He ain't going to Carolina. And this is a little tangent that has nothing to do with the draft that we're doing here. Anthony Richardson fits Frank Reich about the same way I would fit what's the nicest way to say this? A endorsement deal with Victoria's Secret. Yeah, I don't necessarily think you were who we should have taken here because this don't make any sense.
No.
The minute Carolina hired Frank Reich, I went, yep, that's not happening. That's not happening.
Fair enough. Next stock up, stock down from the weekend. Cody Mock. I'll let you wax poetic about your doppelganger out of North Dakota State.
He has no teeth. He is one person that you can take one look at him and go, I already know the player you are. I already can. When I say he has no teeth, I mean he literally has none of his front 5 teeth. And he loves to smile. Mm-hmm. We talked about this kid last week. He came to North Dakota State as a 220-pound tight end. Now he's a 310-pound tackle. He's going in the first round. The question is, what position does he play? And I'm not 100% sure any of us know that. Cincinnati is I keep looking at Cincinnati going, I want to give you a left tackle, but I'm not sure that there is one. Mm-hmm. But I could give you Cody Mock, and you just figure out where to put him.
Yeah, just put him anywhere on the line.
You keep doing this Jonah Williams thing since you're just obsessed with doing it. No matter how many times I tell you not to. he had a great week. He played practically the entire game, too. That's one of those things that nobody else looks at, and it's really impressive to me because that strikes me as he just kept going to the coaches going, you're not taking me out. I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to keep putting tape out there. And he's just a kid that really – you can tell how much he loves this game just by watching him. And that's the kind of guy – if I'm looking at a smaller school prospect, I love seeing guys that go to whether it's the Senior Bowl, Shrine Bowl, the NFLPA Bowl, the Combine, and they just go, I'm going to make sure you can't tell me no. It doesn't matter because you can't watch this tape and go, well, that kid's not an NFL player. Yeah, he is. And he's going to be a pretty good one.
You are in the Sportsocracy. It is ESPN Asheville. Stock up, stock down from Senior Bowl week. It was it's always a pivotal week when it comes to NFL draft prospects. Jeremy, in the full sways of Draftmas season, will continue up next.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Light traffic volume 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. Patton Avenue delay free. A New Leicester Highway, no incidents. On the Smoky Park Highway, no backups. Hendersonville Road moving well. Sweeten Creek Road, no delays. Mills Gap Road, no problems. And Overlook Road moving well. Charlotte Highway, no incidents. Checking the drive time from Mills River to Hendersonville via NC 191 southbound. Drive time 14 minutes. I'm Lynn Benfield with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech. Planning for an upcoming trip? It's important to know that updated COVID-19 boosters are currently available at no cost to you. Remember that immunity could take time to build. Check eligibility and schedule at vaccines.gov. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Josh, quote, "After walking around my whole life being a mouth breather, I was excited to try Navage. I read the directions carefully, pressed the button, and oh my gosh, what a sensation. So much mucus, so much crud, but oh sweet, merciful air I can finally breathe you through my nose. Never have I ever taken such an amazing breath in my life. This is a life changer," unquote. He's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
Did you know that Ingles sells more organics than any other grocery store? Or that they run their own dairy? Or that they only serve USDA Choice and Prime meat? Or that they donate 3,956 meals a day to local food banks? Well, now you do. It's all in the bag.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
Tired of getting dinged by monthly fees on your checking account? You need Simple Checking from Home Trust Bank. With Simple Checking, you get all the essential checking services for free, including 100% online access and a free Visa debit card. It's everything you need from a checking account, but no hoops, no surprises, no monthly fees. Stop by today or call 800-627-1632. Simple Checking at Home Trust. Ready for what's next. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
It is the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, coming to you live from the Ingles Studios. Stock up, stock down from Senior Bowl week. It is the daily draft. Jeremy's got back-to-back picks here.
And I'm going to use them on players that play the same position. Julian Brents out of Kansas State, 6'3", I believe. He's a very large corner, and he had a really good week. And Anthony Johnson out of Virginia, another big corner. I kind of have the same mindset as Seattle of I really like big physical corners. This is why I was so high on Tariq Woolen last year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to tell you those two are as good because they're not, but they're going to be day 2-ish. Brent's definitely will go in day 2. Anthony Johnson, I'm afraid he might fall into day 3, but they're both big, ready to play right away. Anthony Johnson kind of reminds me of Benjamin St. Just, which is a name I'm sure you remember because I said it no less than 58,000 times when he came out of Minnesota.
A whole bunch. All right. I'm going to go with a guy that said that you should watch him at the Senior Bowl. And then he had an amazing week at the Senior Bowl. Will McDonald.
He's a bad man. The only thing that makes me nervous about him is now everybody's on him. He strikes me as he's going to fall right in Baltimore's lap kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
I have a little fear that I'll tell you my favorite place for him is Philadelphia with the last pick in the first round because they just need that situational pass rusher that can come in and be a menace on third down.
Mm-hmm.
He's so thin. And I'm not sure that he's ever going to fill out. Now, he had a great week in Mobile, and he dominated practically everybody he came into contact with. It's that thin thing that I keep coming back to, and he doesn't have the body. There are guys you can look at and go, you can add 20 good pounds of muscle, and all of these things go away. I don't see that with him.
Mm-hmm.
That makes me nervous. Now, that being said, I still think he's first-round pick.
So you say he's topped out at, what did he weigh in, at 241? I believe this past weekend.
I believe he's 6'3", 241.
Mm-hmm.
That is thin. Now, West Virginia Willie in our YouTube comments has a really good point. This may sound crazy, but I think McDonald plays like as skinny as Azeez Ojulari. It's not a terrible comp. It's not a terrible comp. I feel like a 3-4 team is probably where he's best suited, but it probably also would take him a year to get acclimated. I like him wide 9, which is what Philadelphia does,
mm-hmm.
or the Jets. I could see him being a player there if he fell. That's probably not going to happen. He's most likely a last 10 picks of the first round kind of guy.
You have said on numerous occasions over the last week and a half or so that this is one of the most talented tight end groups.
Oh, yeah.
In the NFL draft in recent memory.
And virtually every one of them that showed up in Mobile had a week.
Mm-hmm.
Payne Durham.
Luke Musgrave.
Yeah, he's probably a first-round pick. If he's not, he's going to be real close.
Mm-hmm.
If he's not, he'll be in the first 5 to 7 picks of the second day.
The class is highlighted by Mayer.
You know, and it's funny. I've gotten into so many arguments about Michael Mayer. And what's funny is the argument that I get is so painfully stupid that I don't even know how to respond to it.
Okay.
Well, look at every other Notre Dame tight end. Tyler Eifert and Cole Kmet. Are you really telling me that if that's the low side, which is what's being argued, you're telling me you wouldn't take that in the top 20? Really?
Right.
Yeah, that didn't make any sense. I'm really glad my team does not employ you because that is dumb to dumb to dumb. And for posterity's sake, I think he's better than both of the guys I just said.
Who, Mayer is?
Mayer, yes.
Okay.
So the reason that I said that is that I really want to position – I think there is a difference between Musgrave and Kincaid, who are 2 and 3, and Mayer. That's not a shot at them. I've said I think Michael Mayer shouldn't make it out of the top 15. He's probably going to, but he shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
There are some people that have Dalton Kincaid ahead of him that have Luke Musgrave ahead of him. I don't see that. I like them both a lot. And I think Musgrave's a plug-and-play, come in and play right away. Mayer is a substantially better blocker than both. I mean, it's not even debatable. If you hear anybody say, these two block better than Michael Mayer, don't listen to another word they say. They're either out of their mind or they are dumb to dumb dumb to dumb dumb to dumb dumb dumb.
Mm-hmm.
But in this modern-day NFL, I don't necessarily need a tight end that can block. I kind of like having a guy that's just a pass-catching threat, which both of them are.
Yeah. Faster version of Mark Andrews is what I've read about Musgrave.
That's not – there is a player in this class that I compare to Mark Andrews, but it's not him. It's Will Mallory, who actually was at the Senior Bowl as well.
Okay.
Will Mallory is one of those players that, just since you're talking about tight ends, he's one of those players that you're going to look at a few years from now and go, man, how bad was that offensive staff at Miami that they couldn't figure out how to use him? And Tank can verify what I'm getting ready to say. The last tight end that I said that about was Mark Andrews. You just watch the tape.
Yep.
It ain't hard to figure it out.
All right, final pick of the daily draft. Stock up, stock down from Senior Bowl week.
I really want to say a player that I haven't said before. And this is going to pain me because it's a player that you talked about, and I kind of poo-pooed it when you did.
Okay.
It's Kenny McIntosh.
All right.
I'm not going to back off I think he is a pass catcher almost exclusively in the league.
Mm-hmm.
I will slightly back off he cannot run between the tackles. I saw enough. I mean, and I had seen it before. I just don't think that's how he's going to be used. And then I saw him have some pop plays. And frankly, there wasn't really a running back that had a bad week, per se. Chase Brown was good. Devin Hull, who I mentioned earlier, Eric Gray from Oklahoma, they were all good because this scenario is meant for them. Now, Kenny McIntosh had a really bad drop in the game. I more think that's because you got a week with this quarterback. Well, the quarterbacks were awful.
Right.
I mean, there's not even a nice way to say it. They were genuinely awful. I've heard a lot of people say, well, Jake Haener was the best quarterback of the week. Okay. That's kind of like saying, well, that's the prettiest bag of garbage in the dumpster. That's really the difference.
Mm-hmm.
I think Kenny McIntosh did himself some favors. And I still, with how good this running back class is, I'm still not sure he goes above day 3 with the intention of he comes in as a pass-catching specialist and maybe it grows into something else. As I went back and listened to what I said when you mentioned him when we did the preview of this,
mm-hmm.
I made it sound like, well, he just has 10 thumbs and he can't carry a football. And that's not the case.
I believe that was a homer call by you. Calling me a homer for bringing up Kenny McIntosh.
Oh, there's no doubt that was a homer call. I mean, you got 5 picks of the guys that you want to see at the Senior Bowl and you chose one of your guys. Yeah, it's a homer pick. That's a homer pick for sure. Isaiah Land's another one that I want to mention. Just a kid out of Florida A&M. He had a sack and a half in the game. He was a menace for a good bit of the week. I think he's a day 2 guy now. He's the highest rated HBCU prospect in this draft, and I'm almost certain will go in day 2.
It is the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, and guess what? It's time for the most important message of the day, which is Jeremy Greene.
Don't do
little less than enthused to see Trevin Wayne Hill, 21 years old, out of Las Vegas, Nevada, and he, for some reason, was in Des Moines, Iowa. I don't know why you would choose to go to Des Moines, Iowa, but he was in Iowa staying at the hotel, and I'm going to go out on a limb here and say crimes were involved. He's facing charges for displaying a dangerous weapon, first-degree criminal mischief, and disorderly conduct. Because the other night, he got spotted in the 18th floor stairwell waving around the dangerous weapon. It was a toilet plunger. Yeah. Oh, by the way.
In what world is that dangerous?
Well, when you start waving it at somebody, it can become a dangerous weapon. I think it was very comical that they used that as a dangerous weapon. But you had to beef up the charges somehow because he was naked.
That's never good.
He was completely naked, and he was yelling and screaming and chased a man through the 18th floor, waving the toilet plunger, and apparently went floor by floor until police were finally able to apprehend him, which I just, can we get some blurred video here? Because I think that would be probably one of the most hilarious things, just watching guy following him from 18th floor, 17th floor, 15th floor. Like, dude, put some pants on and put away the weapon.
That is proof positive of a long-standing belief of mine. Nobody wants to fight the naked guy.
Nobody wants to fight naked guy.
My story is not actually about crimes.
Okay.
It is crimes adjacent. And you will see what I mean momentarily.
Okay.
The story's about Libby Vargas Dedenas. She works at the Orange County Jail. Or the Orange County Courthouse in Orlando, Florida.
Okay.
She's one of the janitors. So as you do, she's cleaning up at night after everybody's gone home. She's 72 years old, and she's diabetic. I will tell you, the story has a nice conclusion, but it's not going to sound that way for a minute. So she's cleaning the holding cells in the courthouse, which is where they hold inmates waiting to go through the court proceedings or whatever the case may be. Well, apparently she set a lot of her things down to go into one of these holding cells to clean it. Door closed behind her.
No.
This was on Friday night. This was January 27th. So this was a little over a week ago. Door closes behind her. Nobody comes in this place all weekend long.
Oh, no.
So apparently this is just the holding area for people as they're going into the court proceedings. It's not used for anything else.
Right.
She was stuck there.
Not like the drunk tank.
No. This is like, in my head, I'm imagining the room at the Buncombe County Courthouse where there's glass on one side and you can talk through the. That's what I'm assuming.
You've been there a lot, yeah. I get it.
What are you, a cop? She was stuck there until Monday morning.
That's insane.
She's diabetic. She had no access to insulin, no access to food, no access to anything. She was stuck in this holding cell for 3 days. Did not have her phone. They were all just out of reach. So apparently she could get her arm through the bars, but she couldn't get it far enough to reach all of her things because her key card and her phone and all those were on the cart on the other side of the door.
Oh, man.
Thankfully, somebody came in, found her Monday morning. She was okay. They took her to the hospital as a precaution, but she told the WESH-TV that it was a harrowing experience. She clung to her faith, got through it. I'm okay. All is good.
Wow.
How is there not a button? That's what I don't understand. How do you not have like a button on your belt or something of, hey, I'm in.
This could never happen, yeah.
I'm going back to my.
That'd be a dangerous button to have floating around, though.
Well, no, I mean, it would just alert somebody. I'm not saying it would open the doors or anything like that.
Right.
Just it alert somebody of, hey, not good things have happened. I think this. So obviously, I've said that we're watching Mayor of Kingstown. We're caught up to it.
Right.
I don't understand how things like that happen in jails. There are a couple scenes in that show where you're like, how is nobody there?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make sense to me.
Well, I mean, I guess it probably makes about as much sense as, I don't know, you and I getting locked out of the studio. We forget our keys in here, and
it's true.
It's happened several times. You had to call Brian Hall down the hall. Hey, Brian, can you open the door?
It's never happened that someone wasn't here, though. Knock on everything.
I've had that happen to me before.
Where there's just nobody here.
There's no one else here. I'm doing a basketball game, and I get locked outside the thing and go, oh, dear.
Oh, no.
I'm texting Brian Hall, like, don't go to break. Don't go to break. Thankfully, it has not happened too recently. But I can remember having to call Josh Michael when he lived in the apartments over here, like, hey, you need to come right now.
Like, quickly.
So I can see how it happens.
Yeah, but this is a radio station. That's a jail.
Oh, yeah. But I feel like there's got to be somebody else there going, what happened to Trisha, or whatever her name was? Like, saw her go in, never saw her come out.
I think that's an error in judgment as well. probably should be. You should probably have an accountability buddy. You maybe.
Accountability buddy. I like that.
Need an accountability buddy.
You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Off-season previews will continue next with the Los Angeles Rams. It was not the year that they wanted. They go down in history as the worst defending Super Bowl champion of all time. How do you turn it around in this upcoming season, though?
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Wild numbers to get the week started here in the Carolinas. We've got some mid-60s in the Wednesday forecast. Looks like we try to stay above average all week long. Low tonight down to 34 degrees. Mostly cloudy Tuesday, a high of 60. Mid-60s on Wednesday, and then some wet weather coming in Thursday, Friday with some rain showers. Turning cooler into the weekend. By Saturday, high temps only around 37. I'm meteorologist Scott Lariamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic slow 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 26 eastbound slowing east of Hendersonville Road in the Mountain Home area and continuing towards Chimney Rock Road. Smoky Park Highway, no problems. Patton Avenue, no backups. New Leicester Highway moving well. Merriman Avenue, no incidents. Biltmore Avenue, problem-free. Check of the drive time from Black Mountain to Old Fort via 40 eastbound. Drive time 11 minutes. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Tyson Furniture.
At Tyson Furniture, we have a huge selection of furniture, honest values, and great service. We are a big store, and Black Mountain has wonderful restaurants and interesting shops to explore. Visit us at Tyson Furniture in Black Mountain, where beautiful homes begin.
Only iHeartRadio gives you access to all.
iHeartRadio.
Access to all of your favorite radio stations.
It's Ryan Seacrest. I go by the name of Charlamagne the God.
Hi, I'm Ellen Kay.
Bobby Bones here. Hola, soy Enrique Santos.
Access to all of the best free curated playlists.
My favorite music. The best songs.
A little bit of everything.
Access to all of the great podcasts for every interest.
The Stuff You Should Know podcast.
The Daily Show podcast.
The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
And best of all, it doesn't cost a thing. Download the absolutely free iHeartRadio app now.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
When I finally drove the old car into the grave, I knew there was only one place I was going to go. Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville, home of the family plan. And yes, they treat you like family. I went in, told them what I was looking for, told them my budget, and in no time, I was signing the paperwork on my certified pre-owned vehicle. They have the area's largest selection on quality pre-owned vehicles and certified Nissans. They go through a 167-point inspection, so you know it's not going to let you down. They gave me the Carfax report, so I know the history of my vehicle. And the Fred Anderson family plan gives me things like oil changes and car washes and loaner cars if I have to have major work done on the car in the future. For me, buying a car has always been an intimidating thought. But the folks at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville made it super easy. Don't be like me. Don't wait till the last minute to get a deal done. Go to AndersonNissan.com or stop by the showroom at 629 Brevard Road. And don't forget to mention we sent you from the Sportsocracy and get a $250 bonus on your trade-in at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
The Sportsocracy.
That is some good, clean family fun there, eh, Kai?
Continuing with the off-season previews for each and every NFL team, working our way down the list here, and the Los Angeles Rams. Now they don't have their first-round draft pick. Supposed to be at the number 6, but that goes to the Detroit Lions. And the question is, how did the LA Rams bounce back from one of the worst seasons after winning a Super Bowl?
I feel like you're already in the process of doing it. You just have to get healthy. I mean, look, this team didn't go from Super Bowl winning juggernaut to the 6th worst team in the NFL because they all of a sudden are terrible.
Mm-hmm.
You're thin. You had just a slew of injuries. The problem is you don't have any money. Your roster is very top-heavy, and nobody really wants the assets that you have. It's not like you can, we make a move on Bobby Wagner. No, that's really what makes your team what your team is. I see a bounce back for the Rams, and I think the start of it, this is going to sound weird for me to say, was hiring Mike LaFleur.
Really?
It's not because I think he's a great play caller. He's not. Sean McVay's going to call the plays.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like having another guy in the room that understands that system the way that he does is going to help. That's somebody he trusts. The Rams were the team calling the Jets. They said it was teams. It's not teams. It was L.A.
Mm-hmm.
That was always where he was headed. It always made sense. But I don't feel like this team's as bad as what we saw. It struck me as it started poorly, then the injuries start to mount, and then you got a lot of give up. And I feel like a year from now, you're not really going to have that problem.
Yeah.
And there's a reason Aaron Donald's coming back. There's a reason Sean McVay's coming back. They all had other opportunities. Matthew Stafford, same thing. They're not coming back to go 6-11. They know what they have here. This is a talented roster. They've hit some guys. You just have to stay somewhat healthy.
Yep.
And you're going to have to go bargain hunting because they have 6 total picks in this draft. You really can't miss one.
Yeah. It wasn't good before Cooper Kupp went down with the injury. I guess that's what I keep going back to with L.A. Okay, so they get healthy. Okay. But this wasn't good when the weapons were healthy. When Matthew Stafford, before he went down with the concussion, before Cooper Kupp went out with the injury, Allen Robinson, that was a failed experiment to begin with. The running game's not good.
Yeah, and I put a lot of that on Liam Cohen. I feel like he tried to reinvent the wheel with some of the offensive things.
Mm-hmm.
I said this in a Green on Green the other day. This goes back to a very simple thing that you learned as a child. It's KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. This is not reinventing the wheel. All right? You wound up playing Baker Mayfield the last handful of games.
Mm-hmm.
There's still talent on this roster. Sean McVay, to me, is still one of the 2 or 3 best coaches in this league. You don't see teams like this just fall off a cliff. That's why it was so unsettling to watch. Because you got away from a lot of the things that made you what you were.
Mm-hmm.
You had the threat over the top. I mean, they missed Odell Beckham Jr., there's no doubt about it. Ben Skowronek is a cute story. He's not really the player that's going to threaten you over the top. Tutu Atwell, Van Jefferson, they have moments, but they're not that consistent threat. If you're going to patchwork a line together the way they did, and look, anybody you talk to around the Rams will tell you losing Logan Bruss before the season even started was a huge deal. They thought he was one of the best players in this draft, and they think he's a plug-and-play next year. When you have a patchwork line like this and you run an offense like this, you don't have the luxury of time. You have to pull a safety off. You have to have somebody that scares a team deep, or they're just going to send the hellhounds at you. And that's what teams figured out about the Rams. All we have to do is blitz them.
Mm-hmm.
We blitz them to death because we're not scared. We're scared of nothing. Allen Robinson is scary, but he's not a burner. He's a possession, and that's where I think the Rams made a misstep. And when you go big game hunting the way they do, you look at this roster, they've got high-end players in virtually every position group. Jalen Ramsey's one of the best corners in this league. I know how how you feel about it. I get it. You're trying to be spicy and say Jalen Ramsey's overrated. Maybe a little bit. Maybe he's not the best corner in the league. He's in the top 6.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really not debatable.
No.
You have to put everything in the right situation. But then you go after a guy like Allen Robinson, which is basically your only offseason acquisition. Him and Bobby Wagner. End the message, repeat the line.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Bobby Wagner was good. He was the best linebackers in the league. Allen Robinson was not. So you went 50%. You can't do that when your top 10 players are better than anybody in the league. Your 11 to 53 is probably as bad as anybody in the league.
Mm-hmm.
That top 10's got to be really elite. And in large part, they were. If you look at PFF grades, Jalen Ramsey, top 3 at his position. Cooper Kupp, top 10 at his position. Bobby Wagner, who already said. Aaron Donald. Those guys did their job. It was everybody else that was the problem. And you couldn't trust anybody, and it was just a turnstile of who you put on the field. You got to find some guys you can trust. But I think they're going to. I believe in the brain trust, Les Snead, all these guys. Now, stop trading all your draft picks, all right? Everybody said, well, you're just a draft guy. They won a Super Bowl. Yeah, I get it. There's a reason no team has done this in the last 30 years because it's dumb, and it will catch up to you pretty quickly. But even that being said, I'm looking around the division going, I'm not scared of Arizona. I would say roster-wise, they're right there with Seattle. I mean, I don't think they're as good as San Francisco.
No.
But you're right there with Seattle in a bad NFC. I don't think it's the end of the world like a lot of people have made it out to be.
Mm-hmm.
You need to hit some solid doubles in this offseason. I think they're going to, and I think they'll be fun.
So they have money to deal with.
You're going to have to play some cap calisthenics, but you know that going in. And I'll use an example here. I hear this a lot because we have a lot of New Orleans Saints fans that watch our show. Well, you can kick that can down the road, but there comes a time where there's no more kicking it. Well, that's where New Orleans is at right now. That's firmly, I believe, why Dennis Allen's still the head coach of this team, because they know.
Right.
You know, I said earlier you're going to have to gut the roster. Well, you don't necessarily have to gut the roster, but every time you do the restructure to get under the cap, well, I mean, you're going to pay that eventually.
Yeah.
The restructure doesn't mean it just disappears into thin air. And the Rams have done a really good job of keeping themselves from that. They've been able to restructure and do all these things because they're in a window and they know it. Matthew Stafford's in his mid-30s. You know this window's not 5 years long. It's 2 to 3 years long.
Right.
He has concussion issues. He's had injury issues. So you can push the chips to the middle of the table. And that's kind of what I feel like LA's going to do. You restructure everything you can. You buy yourself a 2-year window. And I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, if you told me the LA Rams were in the NFC Championship game next year, it wouldn't surprise me in the least. Would it you?
Yeah.
Who are you scared of?
Yeah.
Outside of Philadelphia and San Francisco. San Francisco, who may or may not have a quarterback. Who else are you scared of?
Those are the two.
All right, I got to beat one of those.
Mm-hmm.
And San Francisco has a history of issues at quarterback.
Detroit Lions.
You're going to have to prove it to me.
Right.
I mean, I get it. One of my guys is running that team.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, obviously I'm looking at that going, down the line, I'm worried about that. Do I think Detroit's going to go from missing the playoffs, 6 years in a row, to all of a sudden now they're in the NFC Championship game? That's a jump that's a little aggressive for me.
Yeah.
I feel like the Rams are one of these situations where we're so beholden to the most recent thing we've seen that you can't see the forest for the trees. They were bad last year. They're also killed injury-wise. Injuries tend to be cyclical. I don't think you will go through that many again. You could, and if you do, you're going to be in trouble again. But if you don't, you got one of the 3 to 4 best quarterbacks in the conference. Your roster on the high side is one of the 3 to 4 best in the conference. So I just don't think you're going to be one of the bottom feeders of the league again.
You are in a Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. 92.9 FM, 880 AM at 1400. We'll take a quick break. Back to wrap it up after this.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is slow, 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 26 eastbound stop and go east of Hendersonville Road and continuing to Chimney Rock Road. Smoky Park Highway northbound approaching Sand Hill Road is slow. Patton Avenue, no delays. New Leicester Highway moving well. Hendersonville Road problem-free. Sweeten Creek Road, no delays. Checking the drive time from Fairview to Fletcher via Cane Creek Road. Drive time 15 minutes. I'm Lyndon Field with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. The new Crispy Melt Taco is now at Taco Bell. It's a freshly fried shell with a melty cheese blend and your choice of seasoned beef or black beans inside. Try it today at participating Taco Bell locations for a limited time only, while supplies last. Contact local stores for prices, hours, and participation which vary. Tax extra.
Live from Radio Row, it's Super Bowl week, and there's no better way to stay up to speed than with the Around the NFL podcast. Join me, Dan Hansis, and my buds, Mark Sessler and Greg Rosenthal, for the latest football news with just a touch of mirth.
We've got the #1 football podcast in the world, and Rihanna is playing the Apple Music halftime show. It doesn't get much better than that, guys.
Hang out with us live from Glendale, Arizona all week long. Listen to Around the NFL on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcast.
With one of the best savings rates in America, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Even easier than choosing Slash to be in your band.
Next up for lead guitar. You're in.
Cool. Yep, even easier than that. And with no fees or minimums on checking and savings accounts, is it even a decision? That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One N.A. member FDIC.
The Ingles 2023 Southern Conference Downtown Dribble and Kids Fest, presented by Champion Credit Union, will be held Saturday, March 4th, 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. at the Roger McGuire Greene at Peck Square Park. The Downtown Dribble will feature interactive games, inflatables, pet bands, cheerleaders, and parade. Each participant will receive a basketball, Downtown Dribble t-shirt, and a ticket to the noon session quarterfinal basketball games. Check-in will begin at 9:30 a.m. at Roger McGuire Greene. To register, visit downtowndribble.eventbrite.com.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelly Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville, or call them at 828-365-1663.
Our communities are filled with wonderful people who make living here great. At Home Trust Bank, we're proud of that, and that's why we focus on helping homeowners prepare for what's next. Our local mortgage bankers have the experience you need and exceptional personal service you'll appreciate. Home Trust Bank is ready to help make a house your home. When it's time to buy, visit your local Home Trust branch or go to htb.com/mortgage.
Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news?
We are back in the Sportsocracy breaking news time.
It's from Ian Rappaport. The Minnesota Vikings are set to hire Steelers senior defensive assistant and linebackers coach Brian Flores as their new defensive coordinator.
Ooh.
Now, you may ask, why is that breaking news? Well, A, that's the new defense coordinator for the Vikings, so that is a newsworthy story. Mm-hmm. The other reason is because he was one of the 3 known finalists for the Arizona Cardinals job, which means you're down to but only 2. Mike Kavka and Lou Anarumo. It's gonna be Lou.
Lou's getting that job.
I don't see a way he doesn't. And I'm here for it. I think that's the perfect hire for them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie, I think that's the perfect hire for Minnesota as well.
You're looking for somebody that can that can set a culture. And with Minnesota,
with Minnesota, your defense was bad.
Yeah, defense has been the problem.
I don't
for
care
the last 7 years.
I don't care how good your record was. It could very easily have been bad.
Mm-hmm.
Now you bring in a guy in Brian Flores that I feel like he can take the pieces and turn it. I can't tell you it's going to be a great defense. I just think it's going to be better. Ed Donatel was awful.
Mm-hmm.
Had been awful for quite some time.
Also, a defensive coordinator hiring today. Apparently, the New Orleans Saints are going to be hiring Joe Woods, former defensive coordinator for the Cleveland Browns.
That would scare me absolutely to death if I was a Saints fan.
Why?
Because I just watched him take a defense that was really talented and make them look really bad and he had no adjustment. Now, I understand Dennis Allen calls the defense. I get it. I will never understand how these guys get extra opportunities. He was awful
because it's who you know.
I understand that.
It's who
I
you
get
know,
that.
and he worked with
They were
Dennis
together with the
Allen and
Raiders.
Yeah.
And I get that. But this is a really bad aesthetic. You had Saints. I want you to think about the mindset of a Saints fan. They went into this offseason hearing that Sean Payton was going to come riding back to save them. What did you get instead? Another year at Dennis Allen. And now you get Joe Woods. Awesome. I'm not a huge you have to satiate the fans kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
You say this from time to time. Well, you got to sell tickets.
Yep.
No, I'm not. I'm not so big on that idea.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a bad aesthetic.
Sean Payton was officially introduced today as the new head coach of the Denver Broncos, and in his message to the media, somebody asked him about Russell Wilson's personal quarterback coach.
Yeah, he shut that down in a hurry.
And his response, quote, "I'm not too familiar with that. That's foreign to me. That's not going to take place here. I'm unfamiliar with it. Our staff will be here. Our players will be here, and that will be it. There will be no personal coaches whatsoever." Which, Sean Payton is in charge now.
Oh, this was a tone setter, without a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
He was waiting on this question. At least from the clip that I saw, it was, please ask me this. Ask me anything in this vein, and I will very quickly show you that this ride is done.
Yeah.
The whole let Russ cook, that's done.
Mm-hmm.
There's a new sheriff in town, and I'm going to make it perfectly clear as soon as I can.
Yep. Speaking of cooking, Kyrie Irving's cooking in Dallas now.
Well, we managed to make it almost 3 hours without mentioning this.
Hey, we had to. We had to mention it. Look, congratulations to the Brooklyn Nets for getting rid of him.
I mean, I think it's home run for the Nets.
Absolutely it is.
I will also say the NBA has a really funny way of trading draft picks that are like a presidential term and then some away. Do you realize how painfully stupid that is? We got a pick in 2029. You mean when everybody in this building could be selling car insurance?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. I'm glad that makes you feel warm and fuzzy.
You have no idea how to project where you're going to be.
No. I mean, and the thought is, okay, so Luka will be eligible for unrestricted free agency by then. And? You have no idea what that means. It's so stupid.
Is this a disaster?
In Dallas?
Yeah.
Absolutely. That team's thin anyway. The biggest problem was that they couldn't defend a desk lamp, and you just brought in one of the worst defenders in the NBA. Oh, that's a brilliant idea. This is Mark Cuban's been looking for a second superstar forever.
Mm-hmm.
You could have signed Jalen Brunson in the offseason to the contract he wanted. It would have cost you less, and you'd have been in better shape. And I have to say this before we get out of here. If there is truth to the rumor that Joe Tsai took less of an offer from Dallas just to spite Kyrie Irving, he is the stupidest owner in the history of sports. And you deserve everything you get.
Mm-hmm.
You've had
Why
3
would you do that?
superstars demand a trade in 18 months. Good on you.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. We'll be back with you tomorrow at 3 in the Ingles Studio.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Wild numbers to get the week started here in the Carolinas. We've got some mid-60s in the Wednesday forecast. Looks like we try to stay above average all week long. Low tonight down to 34 degrees. Mostly cloudy Tuesday, a high of 60. Mid-60s on Wednesday, and then some wet weather coming in Thursday, Friday with some rain showers. Turning cooler into the weekend. By Saturday, high temps only around 37. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Light delays 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 26 eastbound, also light delays east of Hendersonville Road to approaching Chimney Rock Road. Hendersonville Road, no problem. Sweeten Creek Road moving well. Bouvard Road, no backups. Long Shoals Road, incident-free. Airport Road, no delays. Checking the drive time from Clyde to Canton. via US 23 northbound. Drive time 8 minutes. I'm Lynn Benfield with your Time Saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. The new Crispy Melt Taco is now at Taco Bell. It's a freshly fried shell with a melty cheese blend and your choice of seasoned beef or black beans inside. Try it today at participating Taco Bell locations for a limited time only, while supplies last. Contact local stores for prices, hours, and participation which vary. Tax extra.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
That dog does not want to be petted.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
The Sportsocracy.
Who are we going to cheer for on Sundays now? 63 Americans a day die by gun suicide. By storing our guns safely, locked, unloaded, and away from ammo, we can give our loved ones a second chance at life. Learn more at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF